We are nothing sacred. We are nothing sacred. We are nothing sacred.
With Maxwell Silverhammer.
We are nothing sacred. With cruise control. We are nothing sacred.
Okay.
Oh,
boy.
Bitches. It's been a while, huh?
It's been about a month or so. Yeah, a little bit over a month, wasn't it? Anyway, this is the Drunken Sacred
Drink Wrap.
Shrink Wrap, half drunken sacred shrink wrap. I'm cruise control.
I'm Maxwell Silverhammer.
And I'm Louie Loke.
I'm Koala, but I might
Yes.
change it though.
Oh, yeah.
so
You were
she
looking
might-
at a name change?
She might change it and just usurp some names and take over a new name. Which
Oh,
is
Yeah,
scary
I'm
shit
thinking
right there.
iPhone. I'm thinking that's going to be my new.
Actually,
my
that's a dude's wife. That she's an iPhone.
Oh well, she's already married though, so
We don't want them to have,
taken.
and we really don't need the head fights occurring. You know, I mean, that's just
Oh
would be
God, let's just stop that for now. So, anyways, this is our monthly.
Good. Yes, our drink wrap.
Do you know what head fight?
I think they do, don't they?
Well, I know. I don't know. Head fight. Well, it's the zoozium thing.
Yeah. When the animals get mad at each other, they may have a head fight, or the objects.
See, what psychological dysfunction is that, Louis Loke, where he thinks animals and object names? Have we gone over that yet? How he thinks of women and animal and object names? But
Where'd he go?
What was that?
oh,
So, how I give all the women animal or object names, and cruise control was asking you, is that some kind of disorder?
Oh, Max always has disorders.
yeah,
There's got to be something. There's got to be something.
yes,
Oh man,
that's definitely the truth.
We'll figure it out as time goes by.
Or maybe maybe we won't. Who knows?
We could
Anyways,
be
will.
breaking new ground though on this. This could be a new disorder that we aren't.
It's
We
not
haven't
even in the
really talked
DSM.
about it in psychology circles yet.
well, what are we at now in DSM? Is it 5 yet?
Yeah, it's 5.
Oh, okay, so yeah, we can put like in the DSM 6.
yeah, we can call
You
him
know.
a Maxwell Silverhammeritis. So, Max Weesia.
Actually, it'd be Silver Syndrome. So Maxwell Silver Syndrome.
Munch Maxwell Silver Syndrome.
Then you could have silver syndrome by proxy.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly. And by proxy, so when you're born, my son calls dogs machine names.
And he doesn't, but
Yeah, that's
Anyway-
garbage
anyways.
disposal. That's this. Yeah.
So what are we? We're all drinking. I'm drinking the waters tonight again. I'm being goods.
I'm drinking Bud Light.
Bud Light, dude, you're drinking. Hey, that's even more redneck than Pabst almost.
I know.
Well, actually, no, it's not redneck. Well, I don't know if that's redneck.
Bud
It's
Light,
Bud
yeah. It's kind of neck. It's kind of neck.
What do you think?
With that
I would say
accent,
I would say
when
so. I would say
when
so.
you growl it, yeah. When you
Yeah.
growl.
Bud
I'm
Light.
from Texas, so I should know
Bud
what redneck is.
Yeah.
I'm drinking some Bud Light right there. You know what I'm saying?
And well, let's see. Koala, what are you drinking?
I'm back on my Lagunitas.
Back to the Lagunitas. Okay.
That's
Oh,
all right.
my Lagunitas.
Cool.
And I'm back to the cherry Dr. Pepper.
Oh,
He's got the caffeine going, so he's got something going on with that.
Got
All right.
something going.
All right. See, I'm going with the water. I'm drinking water tonight. So
All right.
I'm still back on. I've had my moments, but I'm to the point where I'm not doing stupid shit like I have to do an improv workshop tomorrow at 1 PM. It might be a good idea just to grab a 6-pack tonight, so I can feel like absolute shit tomorrow and regret my decision. And then I can feel shame because I would have probably told you I was drinking water again.
I feel like you just Dr. Phil'd that.
I did.
Well,
it wasn't-
I changed it. Yeah, I did change that. Good look at them. I don't even know where that came from.
actually, Dr. Phil would be more like this. This is Dr. Phil. Okay. That's how he sounds.
What you need to do.
What you need to do, what you need. Now listen, Jeff, you need to understand that if you drink the shitty malt liquor again this evening, and wake up in the morning. Well, no, you can't get even better beer because you'll drink 7 of them instead of 2. So.
Well, I gotta say, I kind of like some of the Dr. He has some interesting people on his show. Let's just put it that way.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's had some interesting stuff on his show. Sure.
Oh yeah.
But he's still definitely pop. He's got his own.
Oh, totally. He's a character.
Well, I think I think he's not. He knows it. I mean, it's clearly. But I mean, I was really into the ones he had where the people were, falling from the guys from like Nigeria or something. And
the romance scammer people. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was intriguing.
Yeah. He had the one that was like 2 episodes, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I guess it's a little of my sick voyeuristic tendencies, but man, I was like, I was really enthralled by that because I thought, how do you fall for that? You fall for that, and it's obvious. And then she like he calls them or something, and the lady's still not letting it go. I'm like, wow, you are.
Well, there's a YouTube channel called Catfished, and a little butt plug there, and it's all those it's all those stories. There's one where this woman thought that she was really talking to Darius Rucker.
And, geez.
And he's were they on the phone? He's like, "Hello, baby. Do you want to talk?"
No, he said, "I only want to be with you."
I only want to be with you.
He said, "Look, it won't be this way for long." What's that song? It won't be this way for long.
Yeah, he basically had an issue where she was hysterical on the phone, so he had to let her cry.
Oh, let her cry. So yeah,
he told her, "Hold my hand."
Hootie and the Catfish.
Hootie and the Catfish.
That's funny.
That is hilarious.
He said that is hilarious.
Very hilarious. I found humor in that.
I found humor in that.
As I drink my sophisticated cherry Dr. Pepper.
One can find humor in this.
It's not just Dr. Pepper. No.
It's Dr. Phil Pepper.
No, it's Dr. Pepper because I am a doctor. No.
He's a doctor of pepperatry. So
pepperatry.
So I got some shit, guys. I got some stuff.
Okay. So what paratransit was like?
Okay, you're right. The first one is a paratransit thing, but
of course it is.
But it's not about
now that needs to be in the DSM. That needs to be in the DSM.
Paratransitis.
Paratransphobia.
Paratransphobia. So this wasn't about a driver. This is about a passenger. Mm-hmm. And what happened is we go to pick this woman up, and she takes, of course, the 5 minute to come out. And as a matter of fact, the driver was saying, I was just about to write down the no-show information. And so the woman gets on the bus. She's like, "So how many stops do we have till I go to get to my appointment? I got to be there at 8:30. And the driver's like, "Well, it looks like it says here you don't have to be there till 9." And she's like, "No, it's 8:30. I got to be there at 8:30. And the driver says, "Well, I got this, and so she starts telling her all the stops and pickups and all the shit we got to do. And the woman goes, "You know what? Just let me off the bus. I'll just drive there." And she's like,
"Yep,
okay,
Koala." You guys, all the blinks. All the blinks got the stink wink.
Oh yeah, hell yeah,
yeah, for sure.
And well, I'll tell you what, the driver was given the stink wink too, because she goes, she gets off the woman gets off the bus and she goes.
So she got off the bus. She let me off the bus. I will go drive.
She goes, "I'll drive."
She got off the bus and got.
Oh yeah, exactly. So the driver was so appalled. She goes, "I think you should report her." I said, "Oh, I will. I'm going to report her."
You go. You should say you have no idea who you.
I love that she's having you report her.
Right, you report her.
Yeah, because she doesn't want to. Yeah, exactly. That's a very good point, Koala.
Yeah,
if she's not reporting her herself, you should. Damn right, you should. But then again, maybe there is no qualification. There should be a qualification that you cannot drive to use that service. Period.
Well, there is out here.
It should be.
Yeah, there is out here too.
Well, this driver was so pissed off. She goes, give you her passenger number too." And I said, well, I don't know about that.
See, that's the thing.
Yeah,
she's
that's
trying to get she's trying to get away from her responsibility of reporting that. So she doesn't want to make waves. She's going to put it on you to do it, since you know that maybe she knows your reputation.
What I said to
maybe
her
they
is,
say when the bald blind guy gets in the bus, fucking do everything he tells you. Because if you fart and it smells bad, he will report you.
Yeah.
No.
But
apparently
he knows people.
Actually, the paratransit people haven't farted in front of him either.
Yeah.
Right.
Just like the old folks haven't done it.
Yeah.
I could get him some street cred if they did. He'd be like, "Oh, you fucked up my pickup, but you did fart in front of me."
But that's interesting because it's a different layer to the story. It's not just she did that, but that the driver put it on you and was going to give you personal information about the customer. Like, how would you even say that? Like, by the way, I have her. How do you?
Well, that's it. Because
I'm blind and I looked at her. I felt her. I felt
her pass or something.
Yeah.
No, here's the thing, because she goes. I said, well, I don't think I should do that because that'll get you in trouble. And this driver did not give a single fuck. She was
as long as she didn't have to do it though.
Yeah.
She was like, she goes, oh, I don't care. She's like, if they fire me, I'll just take early retirement. I don't care. And I'm like,
no, she does care, or else she would have done it herself, because that's
fear of confrontation. There's so many people that just can't even.
Yeah.
I mean, we had yesterday. We had two junior high girls out on our veranda area at work, like being loud and disruptive, and I couldn't get our front desk guy to go out there. He's like, I have to do, it's just a constant. I'm like, well, then go do it, please. Like, well, sometimes we have to just rock the boat. I'm like, yeah, now would be a good time to rock it. Go do it. And I wanted to see, and then he kept finding other shit to do. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to go out there. I'm going to do it.
So you went.
Okay, so I'm going to play devil's advocate though.
Uh-huh.
I would say, like as far as Max's driver is concerned, maybe she has so many complaints on people that they're like, again. He's like, but if you do it, then maybe they'll listen.
Oh, believe me, I planned to do it anyway. Possible. I mean, that was just my shit. I was like,
he does that. He sees that. He's the
I'm a Karen transit.
Karen Maxwell Karen Hammer.
Karen.
I'm Karen transit, man. Fuck that. Yeah. Oh, you know what? These
Silver
are
Karen.
These are the people
Karen Transit
are the reason that the buses are late all the time, because these motherfuckers that can drive that are taking the service. You know what I mean? So.
What? Are there a lot of them though, do you think? Because I think it's just the inept system.
I've seen several.
Oh,
And
really?
Here's the thing. They're so bold. If I was taking advantage of the system, I would not say a thing. But these people are very vocal about the fact they drive. Oh, I can drive. I just don't have a car right now. I had one lady say that. There was another one who was an actual limo driver. The driver told me this. He's like, yeah, the lady we're going to pick up now, she actually drives for a limo company. And I'm
how do you, this is why.
See, well, I don't remember. Okay, now here's the thing, because one thing the driver was telling me the other day, she goes, well, the reason they're getting on the service like that is because of COVID. When COVID was happening, they were just signing people up, and they weren't able to certify anyone. I'm like, well, wait a minute. Now you guys all took paratransit or take paratransit. Didn't we have to get like an outside person to certify us?
I had to get a physician. I could see how maybe some people short-circuited the system during pandemic, but don't you have to every 2 years or so get it redone?
Yeah, it's like 3 years.
Well, here's the thing. We all know this has been happening for years before.
This was pre-COVID. Yeah, pre-COVID.
You've told me stories about this before, and I've seen it before where, it's just people don't want to save money on gas. They don't want to have to worry about driving if they don't want to.
Right.
And I think a lot of the problem is that they're at, and this is a contested thing for a lot of people, but they're considering psychological issues as physical disabilities in the same way. Like, I have stress disorder, so when I drive, there might be a tendency for me to run over old people on the sidewalk when they're in groups. So I can't drive.
Yeah,
well, that's just something I do. Like I did it once. And I was just driving, and I just had this urge there were like 5 old people playing chess on a bench in the park. And I just ran over the grass and just bulldozed them like bowling pins. And now I got to ride paratransit because I just my emotional state is, unless I have my emotional support cat with me in the car,
Right.
Well, as long as they don't bring their bakiyaki on the van, I'm okay with it. But they might.
Well, you don't want to catch bakiyaki, right?
Well, that's when I play bakiyaki street hockey with the old folky.
Oh, that reminds me of the thing that rhymes with Max.
Oh, yeah. the Vax.
Yeah, don't say it. We're gonna
oh dear.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Oh, Vax. Well, and this is the interesting thing too with them saying, since COVID, because
that's everybody's go-to, man.
Okay,
the COVID cop out.
What it is now, it's the new Mercury is in retrograde.
Oh yeah,
that's what COVID is now.
Yeah, pretty much.
What does that mean, actually?
Mercury. It's kind of bullshit. It's like, it's Mercury retrograde,
Yeah, or the age of Aquarius,
things are going wrong, and people, Mercury's in retrograde. I actually looked it up to find out what the fuck that was, because I had heard it so many times. Mercury's in retrograde right now, so that makes sense. I'm like,
my friend Ambulance says that shit all the time. Yeah.
So what does it mean?
Well, it means something about when Mercury is in retrograde, which it never actually really is. It's something about with the planet is in fact going the other way.
Astrological loveliness,
But it's supposed to interfere with communication systems.
Yes.
So it's not a good time to get a new computer or get a new phone
or explain how you cheated on your husband or,
Right. Emails, you shouldn't be making business decisions that involve communication. And it seems to be always in retrograde though. And so that's why I say COVID is the new Mercury in retrograde. Right. Humanity's in retrograde.
Yeah, exactly.
It's COVID grade.
I just don't understand. I don't understand. The thing that's telling as well about it is that the lady didn't even act like she's like, oh, I'll just drive.
Very casual.
You know what I mean? Oh, not well, I'll just get off the bus and
I'll find my own way there. That's what I would have said, especially if I was taking advantage of the system like that.
Yeah,
I would not be saying shit like that. But see, that's it. They've gotten so bold that their attitude is, well, they're not going to do anything to me. What are they going to kick me off the service?
Everything's a disability. That's what I'm saying. Well, I wouldn't drive, but today I feel good. So why didn't you just not take your paratransit and drive anyway? So you could save up some, it's like and the part about it is it just makes it so much harder on people who need the service.
That's what I'm saying.
Again, it just makes it because you're first of all, you had to stop there. They had to go there, and it was pointless for them to go there because they went there and she didn't even get on the goddamn bus to go to where she was going. So that could have shaved off everyone else's ride in there.
Right.
So that inconsiderate crap like there, well, I'll just drive. Well, what about everyone else in the bus who had to stop and wait for you when you went there?
Yeah.
And how long
who doesn't have the luxury of driving?
Or who had to get picked up earlier because they had to accommodate your ass. If she was already on the bus, if I was the driver, I got to be honest, I would have just been hightailing it. I'd be like, just like, nah, can't get off now, bitch.
Yeah. Well, we're gone. Bus is in motion.
Kidnapping. I don't know what that is. Come on, get on this.
Hey, we're not allowed to take you back.
We're not allowed to let you off because you're disabled. Right. I'm sorry. You don't have the ability. You don't have the ability to get off the bus with that because they wouldn't do that to anybody else. How many times have been hard for anybody? I've tried to get off the bus. No, you got to.
Oh, dude, there was something a few years ago. Well, years ago now.
But I thought paratransit renews your thing every few years, right?
Well, you got to fill out some paperwork. I think now they send out paperwork and you got to fill it out.
But what I'm saying is if a driver, if the person's so stupid to report themselves and say, hey, I actually can drive, but I'm taking your service. And if the driver reports them, then the next time they go for a renewal, they'll be like, the driver reported you and you don't qualify for our service. Wouldn't that?
I would think.
Isn't that how it should work?
Well, maybe they had to meet quota so that their funding wasn't cut.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure they got to get so many people on the system.
It's just really
possible.
And like I said, what do they determine as disabilities?
I guess I'm too much of a rule follower. If I make a mistake and say that I could do something that I told
well, you're making
the other
sense.
person.
You're making sense. Most of this shit doesn't make sense.
And how long were you sitting out there waiting for her?
About almost 5 minutes because the driver said I was getting ready to write the no-show information up.
So she was worried about time. gets out there.
Yeah, she was late.
Late to get here before at the very end of the window. She gets there.
Yep.
Then she complains about it. Then she gets off the bus after making you
we had to wait
5 minutes.
Yep.
That could have been used to get you other places. Right. Wow, that is peak entitlement right there. That is
narcissistic.
Yeah.
Yep. Entitleitis is what it is.
Wow, that is peak. Just like, oh God, like,
everybody throws that word narcissistic around, and I know we did a shrink wrap on narcissism, like about 2 years ago or something like that.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah.
How long have we been doing this, man? But I kind of wonder though if nowadays that narcissism is just thrown around for everybody.
Yeah,
because I think everybody's selfish in a way, right?
Well, yeah,
true.
Yeah, but that don't you think though that displays more? Because I'm not saying I agree with you. I think sometimes people are just selfish, and that's just an incident thing. But to push that's pushing it. It's like saying I'm going to not only. That's why, because I do agree. I think it is thrown around way too much.
Yeah. If you don't like somebody, they're a narcissist, or whatever.
I think it also has to do with like it's definitely one of the traits is lack of empathy, concern, and consideration for the people. And it's like one of the main. It's like, and it's obviously oblivious to anything else because she
she was oblivious to everybody's schedule. Like I'm going to be
except for her,
maybe 5 minutes. Yeah, except for her.
She bitched about her schedule. Oh, well, I got to be there at 8:30, and I can't be like
a narcissistic tendency. So in terms of actually her being like an actual narcissist, she obviously has one of those tendencies.
Yeah.
But I think it's more like it's a societal tendency. Like that's just it's like. It's something that's like, I think that's why we keep saying it, is because there's so many traits that this is something like somebody out there would actually enable this bitch. Be like,
well, somebody has.
You don't know what she went through that morning. Maybe right before they got there, she couldn't find her keys, and she just got upset, and that's why it was late for that. Even though she was ready 5 minutes before, but then she couldn't find her keys right when she was about to get out and leave.
Or the driving, even the driving part. Somebody would make it for,
But I think a lot of
what kind of voice is that one, Cruz?
That's my entitlement voice. Like I don't want to rock the boat, and I actually don't really want to help this person. I just want to kind of like, because I'm so awesome and I understand people, and so that's
the actual entitled person would talk like, well, I've been held down. I'm a victim. I'm a victim of poverty and of systemic racism.
So Cruz's voice is like what I call the people who are grounded, and they have to tell you they're grounded. I just try to be really grounded. I'm like, well, try being the operative word, but you're not. It's like that like. I don't want to irritate anybody, so I'm giving everybody a free pass because we're all delicate little flowers.
But it's also a human. I don't want to, and I don't want to. I understand people. See, I understand. I'm more tolerant than you.
Oh, right.
Yes,
condescending.
That drag queen was shoving her crotch in that 4-year-old's face, but the parents seem to really understand, just whatever.
Right. And the 4-year-old needs to learn about that at that age, because the younger
I wonder if our point of view is similar because we grew up in the 70s, 80s, early 90s, whatever. Right?
Yeah.
We grew up in that era, and because we all think the same way about it. We all think the same way about entitlement. Or does it have to do with the fact that we're all visually impaired?
But you know what, though, man?
And grew up in that.
I think grew up a little bit of both.
But here's the deal, guys. No, I think it's this. Because there's a lot of people our age and older that have that same entitleitis going on. And I think it's just how we are. We're all we've all had we're all working or have worked. You know what I mean? So we know we have to do our own shit and take care of ourselves. So we're just not that. It's just how we are. We've been socialized.
I think it's interesting. I think also that people might have started out that way, like who are our age and older. but then society and everyone tells them like, well, you this, and so you deserve this, and you
should wear your fuck God shirt or something.
And and like psychologically, like this, like I said, our society is narcissistic. It has a lot of narcissistic tendencies. So a lot of people can't keep their personalities separate. Like they get swooned by it. While with us, we've always been, we're never going to be integrating directly into society. Like, so it's not like we're like used to like having to really conform because we can't. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, so we just kind of, we accepted our, like, hey, this is what we are. We're never going to fully fit in.
Our plight in life, right?
Yeah. Our so we're not like, plight, so when someone comes along and says, when someone comes along and says, yes, women are this and this, and we're like, no. We're like, no, entitlement is this, like, this is what you deserve. It's like,
see, but we didn't have the people that we had, with us, like we had Cruise Control. You and I had Andy Mackelberg, and we had Mark Lucas as our camp. Those people were always trying to push us to like, you got to do it yourself. You better learn how to do this yourself. You know what I mean? They were tough on us.
Right.
So,
Yeah. And I think that's also part of the thing is we hated to bother people. At least I did. When I grew up, it was like, oh God, another person's I got someone that has to drive me here. Someone has to drive me there.
I've never spoke about this on here, but my older brother was my inspiration as far as that goes.
Really?
Like when he would, cause he could see, right.
Uh-huh.
And I always told him, every once in a while I'd ask him, I say, how is it to have two blind brothers? And he would always tell me, "Oh, you motherfuckers are just the same." Like,
so he didn't treat you guys any differently. Nothing?
Yeah, he's like, you're not any different than I am. Like, whatever, get out of it. Quit asking stupid questions like that.
Well, and I'm sure your parents even, you got your ass whooped. I'm sure you did, right?
Yeah,
for shit.
Yeah.
And it also has to do with us trying so hard to not be a burden and to be independent. And to not have to have somebody drive us places because it takes their time, it takes their gas and whatever, it takes whatever. So we always, almost all of us, I always ask for gas. So when we see some motherfucker abusing a system that's meant for people who can't do that,
right?
When they can, and then they have, and also on top of that, it's the complete lack of consideration for anybody else on that bus who could have been on that bus. I mean, like I said, dialysis or whatever, or anything else that they had to get to. She didn't give a shit, So it's double. It's like a double whammy. It's like, you're ruining she literally probably took 30 minutes off of that ride for you if she had called and canceled or hadn't or whatever.
Well, shouldn't be using the system in the first place. It's like the people bringing, we go back and forth somehow we always get to this, but we always the emotional support dogs, like, like bringing your fucking dog in, it takes away, it inconveniences the people that need that, right?
Exactly.
And that privilege. And it's like, it's this idea too. But what I think it is we've gotten so into our safe space and making everybody feel okay with whatever they are, that we've turned disability into a bad word. And so we can't even question it anymore. I mean, you could walk around with a Santa hat on your head and say, I've got a disability. That's why I do this. And nobody's going to ask you because they're scared to, unless they're like a kid. And if they're a 5-year-old, they'll be like, Mommy, why is that asshole walking around with a Santa hat on?
And I've heard kids get chastised by their parents for asking questions, which is crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, and I think that a huge part of why we balk at this a lot too is that we were people that I think a lot of it's how we were nurtured, how we were raised, but there's some of it is the nature too. Our personalities are inquisitive. We want to know, like, rather than I'm going to assume the guy in the wheelchair can't do this. I'd be like, hey, how the fuck do you do this?
Right. Okay. And you do it at all.
Because I don't know. I've never been in a wheelchair. Right. So, I think that's another piece, that we're people that actually have inquiring minds, and we aren't tolerant. We're tolerant, and I hate the word tolerant because I'm tolerant of mosquitoes.
I like the word tolerant. I hate the word acceptance, celebration, and participation, because that's what it really is now. It's not about being tolerant. It's about being, oh God, you're great. Oh God,
celebration.
You thrust your crotch into a 4-year-old's face. You're so stunning and brave.
So inspirational.
Tolerant, though. Tolerant means you're putting up with it. It doesn't mean that you that you.
Yeah, you don't have to like it. You just accept that they're different, and then you accept tolerance, acceptance, and then you fucking deal with it because you're different too.
But it's somehow
I don't know.
like
sometimes I feel like at least me, I got that thing where you're like, oh, you're a great piano player and you're blind. Holy shit! Like it's great. It's a good thing. And it's like, why do you got to throw the blind thing in there? Why can't it just be
right? Was it even part of that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've had people say that to me too. Man, you're cool as fuck and you're blind.
Well, because when you play piano, it's why I get irritated when somebody will give up their bar stool to me.
I don't like that either.
Because I'm like, well, hang on. How about that person who looks tired? It's like, you're a great piano player. Well, that doesn't have to do with sight. People don't look at the keys who play piano.
Right.
Because it helps them to play better.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that's different is that I don't read music, but that's...
Yeah, but a lot of people play by ear.
You don't read music and you're blind?
Right.
Oh, my God.
Right.
That's really
out of necessity,
cool.
Right?
Well, you could check the NLS music section.
A lot of artists, especially now, don't read music because they have tab books for guitars and different kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
you
can learn on YouTube. Shit.
Yeah.
So, I had somebody compliment me for being in a spin class, and I kicked ass, and they were like, "That's amazing that you can do that." I'm like, "No, it's not.
It's a spin class. You're in a stationary
I'm not
bike.
even. Yeah, I'm like, actually, that just means I have stronger legs and more stamina than you. Like, why is that amazing? It would be amazing if I just did like a fucking Spartan race.
Speaking of being amazing, that's a nice segue. We should jump into David Bowie Part 2.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I want to say one more thing. Well, this might take a little more time. Well, maybe we can go a little later on. But
Rocket.
It kind of wanted to go into something that I wanted to talk about, which is the concept of shame. And how shame is considered such a terrible thing now, except it's used constantly to show how much of a terrible thing it is.
Right. You fat shame somebody.
Yeah. Fat shaming somebody. Let's say you fat shame somebody. And what it means to fat shame is to criticize someone for being overweight, or even saying, not criticize someone, but criticize the concept of being overweight. But here, because I guess the point is like, because right now it's like, if you say, being overweight is unhealthy, it's absolutely 100% true that being really obese is unhealthy. It just is. There's just no, it's just common sense and makes sense, right? And so even if it's not, if you think it's a health issue, they say, oh, stop fat shaming this. But the idea is that shame is a terrible thing when it's necessary in society. Like shame is the reason why. There's a reason why we feel shame. Now, is it overboard just like anything else, right? But like that woman felt no shame. There was no. And because guilt is
part of learning is shame.
Well, guilt and shame are different. Guilt is like how you feel about something, regardless of how other people see it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, shame is about how other people see you, what you've done. Like, how dare you do, oh my God, everyone thinks I'm awful. Everyone thinks I'm terrible. Right. Yeah. Well, guilt is actually, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. Guilt is like, I did this. I'm a terrible
It's on
person.
you. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's not about like,
well, you created a good distinction. Shame is external most of the time.
Yeah.
And guilt is more internal.
Internal. Oh yeah.
And that's why narcos have a problem usually with, they don't feel guilty if they feel shame, because they don't actually feel bad about what they did. They feel bad that people found out about what they did.
Right. Because when you're talking about narcissistic personality, it's all about what others perceive you as.
Yeah.
So if they're doing something that's shameful to society or shameful to that person, it's like, oh no, I want you to see me in a good light. So they do feel shame, but they don't feel guilt, because it's like, oh, I never do anything wrong. What are you talking about?
I'm perfect.
That kind of goes along with how it's a trait of society, because let's take that woman. She didn't feel shame because she probably excused the fact that, she didn't feel either or guilt or shame. And that's what they're trying to do. And that's why these fat phobic, they're narcissists, basically. These people that say, oh, you're fat phobic because you think you wouldn't date an overweight person. Basically you're fat shaming because you're calling this, but when what actually they're doing is shaming you. Yeah. So what they're doing is they're saying, oh, how, like if you say, oh God, it's really awful. You're going to have heart issues. You're going to have diabetes. You're going to have issues with your joints. It's just inevitable. Oh, you're fat shaming. How dare you fat shame when you're not shaming anybody? they're shaming you by calling you a fat shamer.
Right. They're
Does that
putting a
make
label
sense?
on you.
And even if there are conditions where like you're not making the person feel guilty for their condition, right? Like I agree. Anything where excessive overweight is unhealthy. And does it mean that you went out and ate Krispy Kremes? Maybe not. Maybe you have a thyroid condition, which is also a lack of homeostasis, which is unhealthy. Something in your body is unhealthy, and it's okay to acknowledge unhealth. Right. Like a lack of health. That I'm not shaming anybody for that. And if anything, it's very funny that people that would yell at you for fat shaming will tobacco shame, which I don't believe in. People, I think smoking is not a good thing. I don't like it. I don't like the smell of it, but it's amazing how that's accepted as an okay thing to shame.
Because
and we do it so far as to raise taxes on it.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Right. Because I guess what I'm trying to get at is like with this, what these people are trying to do, who they're trying to eliminate shame as well, so that they don't feel anything. They don't feel either guilt or shame. Like
it's just all good. It's all happy all the time.
She had neither.
Yeah.
Because she was in front of everybody. She was like, I'll just take my car. Like she didn't try, because a lot of times what she didn't try to say something, it was like she tried to make it like the driver's fault, of course.
Yeah. Oh, well, look what you made me do. Now I gotta use my gas.
But it's like almost like there's just we're running out of both now, and that's fucking bad shit. Like, because it used to be, like you might not feel guilty, but you wouldn't do something because everyone else would think you're a complete fuckface, right?
Right.
Now we don't even have that much anymore.
Because nobody knows what we're allowed to. Everybody's so worried about being tolerant and being, not offending anybody.
Not being
Why do we care?
Yeah. Like personally, I don't give a fuck.
Would I like it if somebody said, hey, maybe you don't want to go out with her because she has, she's blind and that could be a challenge and your kids could be blind. Would that feel good to me? No. I, though, would actually respect
that
fact
as a
that they said it.
Yeah. The fact they came out and
said
said
it. Way.
Yeah, exactly.
Why would you want to force that's another crazy thing.
There you go, too. Then all of a sudden.
Why would you want to force you should want to date a trans woman. What?
Yeah. It's like it's not my personal preference.
You're a bigot then.
You don't have to want to date a brunette.
You're a bigot. Shame. You're a bigot. You're shaming. You're making them feel shame for not dating them. But you're making me feel shame for not. Well, you're making them feel shame for not wanting to date them. So they feel shame because you don't want to date them. Well, you're making me feel shame for not wanting to date them. Yeah, but that's better. It's like, what the fuck?
I'm trying to show you the error of your ways or some dumb shit, or whatever.
Well, it could even be that you don't like large busted women or short women or tall women, or whatever. You might just not have a physical attraction to that body type, whereas somebody else might be like, you know what, I like a woman with a lot of extra meat on her bones, or a man with a lot of extra meat on, I don't want to date a guy with back hair.
Right.
I'm not back hair shaming.
I don't like accents. There's some accents I don't like where I'm like, oh, fuck.
But that's them trying to to basically remove any kind of guilt or shame or responsibility from themselves, I guess.
So it's kind of a narco world.
It's on you, because that's this whole goddamn thing.
So Max, what accents don't you like?
That's a good question. Actually.
You know what? I don't like a lot of accents. I don't really care for the European accent too much. The Helga. I just think that's.
You don't like Helga?
You don't like Helga?
I don't like
Helga. Helga is coming to get you.
Helga's going to suck your.
Maxwell, Helga is here.
Hello,
Helga has nice feet.
If Helga had nice feet,
yeah.
I don't know. You know what? I actually
that's an interesting battle between.
Because when I was working at camp, there was a girl from Scotland, and she always wanted me to rub her feet, but I just couldn't get into that accent. They took like this. No,
they don't. I'm Scottish.
The Scottish accent from Scotland.
What are you doing? You're doing some weird Swedish thing.
No, they talk like this. I would.
No, Scottish people talk like this. No, they don't talk like that.
500 miles.
Yeah, like those guys.
I would walk 500. Well,
No, they
it's almost like don't you know?
Don't you know?
Don't you know is Irish? Yeah, don't you know?
Yeah.
Don't you know was supposed to be Minnesota?
Irish accents to me are kind of hot, really hot. Actually, Irish chicks are hot, so I'm just gonna say it.
Well, hey,
there you go.
Like I said, to each his own.
You know you do it. You know you're there. Like, why don't you come over here and tell me come to the end of my rainbow?
Are you trying to accent shame me?
I'm accent shaming.
Yeah,
you know what?
I'm accent shaming you for not liking.
Helga's going, yeah, you don't want to fuck me. You're a what's it called? A Scottish accentophobe.
I'm a Scotophobe.
Okay, so what about like an English or an Australian kind of accent?
Sometimes those they can work in certain cases. Some are all right. And then others, I'm like, nah.
Oh, I think I know where this is going. He is very U.S. central.
Yes, I'm American.
Oh my God, dude, you should shame.
Although you know what? Although there's even some American like if somebody hears that really strong New York accent, it gets on my fucking nerves.
Or what? Or I'm sure you don't like that.
Jeez. Oh yeah. Oh, that's another. Yeah. But you know what? There was somebody I did date for a little bit that had a Southern accent, but it was hot the way it was because it was just enough. I told her, I said, your accent is just right because it wasn't twangy, like extra twangy, but she still sounded hot. Like
kind of like this. Like, how you doing? Is that too much?
Yeah, that was still a little too much. Even
I really hope you didn't put it like that. Like, it's just enough. You still sound hot.
Actually, no, I did. I think I said something like that.
That's why they're still together.
Yeah. That's why we're not together, right? No. It was,
well, fuck you then.
Kiss my grits.
But when you think about it, if somebody told you you're just right, I'd be like, all right, cool,
Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad I fit.
Right?
I passed the test, right?
See, that's.
See, I was like, you're still hot. That was where I was going.
You're still hot,
or no, like you're just. But I don't know.
It fit.
Kiss my grits.
She sounded hot. Trust me. I was like, oh, okay.
I just think people, we've gotten to the point in this fucking crazy ass Western world of ours where people cannot even accept someone not finding them attractive, and it's the other person's fault. Like it's their fault for not finding you attractive. Like that's how fucking little weak that people can have their feelings hurt and their egos fucking damaged. Like, you can't not find, if you don't find me attractive, you're a phobic.
Something.
We've had and I think that's another thing. That's the thing that maybe, I don't know if this is either more of a guy thing. Maybe it's not. And going back to the eyesight thing, like we said, girls, I won't date a guy who won't drive. I won't date a guy who's visually impaired and that's a lot of them. The main reason is because they can't drive.
Right.
We
have a mutual friend that said that.
Thank you for letting me know so that I won't have to worry about it. Like that's good for me, and not if you just broaden. I hate that. If you just broaden your horizons,
man, fuck that. If you don't like something, you don't like it.
What is this? A fucking? Are we going to Hobbyland and trying out a fucking new a new shirt on or Hobbyland or like a fucking Kohl's
or a new car or something?
Or I dated a guy that used to shave his head. And he was of color, which is another thing I hate the phrase.
POC.
Yes, he was of color. I'm not
POC. He was a POC.
I had no color. But he was asking me, he's like, I want to grow dreads. I said, I really find that very unattractive, and I just it's kind of really nasty to me. Like, I don't like dreadlocks. And he's like, well, would you be okay if I did? I said, honestly, I find it really unattractive. It would be a complete turnoff. So you got to think about that. I mean, I hate that I was that, like some people might think that's shallow, but I'm like, no, I find it dirty.
See, I hate that too. Shallow. That's another term that pisses me off.
So my wife didn't like or doesn't like guys with long hair, right? And at the time when I met her, my hair was sort of long. Mm-hmm. It was longer, but I had cut it a little bit. And she's kind of like, you can.
So you're just right.
No. I actually now have a shaved head, like straight bald head.
Oh wow, damn. Well, that's interesting. No, I'm just saying.
I changed for her. No.
Yes, she shamed you.
She shamed you.
Shamed you into cutting your hair, man. That's what it was.
That's something that you
like
can actually work.
At the time, I was kind of like, I don't know if I want to do it. And then eventually I was like, you know what? Everybody does it here. So yeah, I'm going to fit right in too, you know?
Well,
I think it's okay to just say what really is a turnoff. Like it's not that you think like I have friends with back hair. I find it a complete turnoff romantically. I don't think they're bad people, and I'm sure there's somebody out there who will.
By the way,
that.
I have back hair, just so you know.
Oh, okay. See, there you go.
All right, that's great. All right, why did you? Never mind.
I'm glad I didn't say. I hate all those back hair assholes.
A hair back.
Hair back.
You can get that wax though.
Oh,
I'm just saying,
Maxwell hairback hammer.
Well, see, that's what I think about. I think that's something a little different too, and it depends on how much you care about that person. Because something like back hair or dreads is something you can actually, or like what Louie was talking about. Like Louie was talking about, he shaved his head. He's like, oh, you know what? I like her more than I like the fact that I have longer hair, and it's the trade-off I'm willing to make because it's nothing that's going to change. It's not like a damn deal breaker. Well, God damn it. Well, I want to be me. I want long hair. Well, if that's more important to you than a person, than so much other more, things, then you're obviously not the right person either. So it just comes to that point. If that's not something you really do, obviously there's certain things you can't, control, like visual impairment or skin color or sexual orientation, other things like that. And those are just the same thing. You're allowed to say, I don't find those, even though they're not something you can change.
Right. Well, I mean, some people are not into ethnic, like they wouldn't date out of their race. It's just what, you know what I mean?
I can't change my skin color.
Oh no. Well, you can, but it might be painful and it might require a lot of Clorox.
Yeah. Or, you could do the Michael Jackson thing.
Michael Jackson.
You could do that, Michael Jackson.
Oh, stop it. Accept me for who I am.
You're being ignorant. Yeah, that's that. Okay. He was a proponent of that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Accept me for who I am. Leave me alone, but don't leave me alone.
Because I need to be. But why do we have to like every type of person equally when we don't have to like every type of life situation or activity? Like equally. I can actually openly say, I do a lot of work with athletes. I don't like basketball. I know it's different in some ways, but it's like we're allowed to have opinions on what it bothers me when you talk to me while you're eating. Yeah. That is like nails on a chalkboard to me. I can say that, but yet I can't say it bothers me that you're 100 pounds overweight because I'm concerned.
Right.
Or I find that unattractive in a person that I'm dating.
Well, that's the thing. Now you can't even say that. You can't now. It's not. And what happens is the what is it? The Overton window is what it's called. I think it's where like things become more acceptable as things go on. So now it's not just, okay, well, you should open your mind and broaden your mind. You're a phobe if you don't like this. It's you better like this. Like you better, like if I am a man who has a fucking, identifies as a woman and you don't find me and want to date me, you're
transphobic or something.
You're a bigot. You're disgusting. You're not opening your mind to the fact that I am a woman, even though I don't believe they are. Or anything like that. Like if you don't open it, like you said, anything like that. So it basically causes people to, like it's got to the point where it's like, it's almost persecuted. Like there's even some people out there now going, well, just because you have sex with men,
doesn't make you gay?
Doesn't make you gay. Like you can have sex with men, but still be heterosexual.
Couldn't you? Well, you could be bisexual, I guess.
Well, no.
How do you work that out?
They're saying you can still be.
Well,
you can't.
You know shit of it though.
I mean, the word hetero means opposite.
Yes.
Well, you know what my dad's saying used to be? He'd say, "Son, you can ride 1,000 horses and never be called a cowboy, but you suck one dick and you'll be a faggot."
Wow.
Right.
Well, there goes our show.
I love
really
it.
sure.
You know, I love it.
I do too.
I love it.
Because it's a term that it's the way, and it's just the way it is.
It actually makes sense though, because you could ride 1,000 horses and be doing dressage or other things. You could be a cavalryman.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so he's actually very wise on that one.
Yeah. But I don't know if he got that from somewhere else, but I know he's the one that said it.
But it really is true. Like if you're either bisexual or you're homosexual if you have sex with men, or
you can't be heterosexual.
Well, some guys just man,
I've only sucked 2 dicks, you know. I mean, I'm not totally gay.
I've had 12 women. My body count is 12 women, 2 dudes. You know, so I'm still way over the dude mark with my.
I'm still heterosexual.
What, did you forget what orifice was what? I mean, you know, it's just, well, and the weird thing is, like, people shaming you for not being attracted.
Let me see if I don't find that fucking article real quick.
I'm a butt raper off paper, you know.
Well, I don't want to be too crude, but if you can't,
that's Max's
if
job.
you can't get it up for somebody, there's nothing that, you know, tolerance is going to do to help that. Like, I mean, really, I don't want you dating. Like, if you don't like,
I can't get a hard on for
blonde
a dude.
Women, you know, if you like tall brunettes and I'm not doing it for you, you're not going to do it for me. Right. So I'd rather know up front.
Yeah, wouldn't you want somebody who wants you as opposed to somebody that's, you know?
And same thing as a woman. Like, if you can't get off on somebody, you can't.
He found something. What did you find?
Oh dear.
Why some straight men have sex with other men.
Oh boy. Okay, let's hear this.
Sexual identities and sexual behaviors don't always match because sexuality is multi-dimensional.
What? Sexuality is multi-dimensional.
Recognize sexual fluidity, and some even identify as mostly straight.
They're definitely in the 5th dimension on this.
Right.
Fewer people know that some men and women have same-sex encounters, yet nonetheless perceive themselves as exclusively straight. And those people are not. Well, that's like the fat people saying that they're healthy. I'm healthy. I'm healthy. You can't be healthy when you're
fat and healthy. Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking about morbidly obese. You know, like you can be, you can't be truly healthy if you weigh 400 pounds, 500 pounds.
That's like saying I'm a heroin addict and healthy, you know, or some shit.
And these people are not necessarily closeted gays. Lesbians are bisexuals. No, when a closeted gay or bisexual man has sex with another man, he views that sex as reflecting his secret identity. He is not open to the identity, likely because he fears discrimination. When a straight man has sex with another man, however, he views himself as straight despite his sex with men. Well, then he's fucking delusional.
Right. Because all you need to know.
Who in the heck wrote this, man?
Where are you getting
somebody the same sex?
It's from Vice. It's Vice. Why do so many straight, quote unquote, straight men have sex with gay men?
They don't.
My next question is what made you even look this up?
I saw it on Twitter, dude. I was like,
it was a Twitter thing.
Somebody posted the article and goes, "What the fuck what is this shit?" It's because that's how bad shit is. Like I said, there are people like that. They have the swimsuit editions with or not the swimsuit, but like Men's Health magazine has like a 500-pound dude on it eating a fucking donut, going, like it's like it's Orwellian. When Orwell said, "What is war is peace, love is hate." Yeah. Remember that? In 1984.
Yeah.
It's because they're trying to destroy any kind of meaning to anything. That's why they're saying, like trans kids, gay kids. I'm sorry, there's no such thing as a gay kid.
You don't know what you are yet. And even if you do know as a little kid, you don't know that you know until you're old enough to figure out that you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I have a lot of clients I work with.
Yes, exactly.
Well, that's it.
About that.
Yeah. Exactly. When I'm 5 years old, I wasn't going, I'm straight.
Yeah. I'm a straight, you just thought, you just liked what you liked and you might, Yeah.
I mean, it just was certain things.
Here's another one. Fucking March 10, 2020. 19 straight men sharing gay hookup experiences. No. It's not. It's not a ratio. It's okay. And if it is, then that destroys the whole genetic argument of sexual orientation is not a choice.
Yeah, exactly.
Because either you are or you're not. You're either bisexual where you like both, or you're straight where you like one, and you're gay, you like well, because we've been told for so long, and this is just one aspect of what I'm talking, but it's just that shit. But we've been told for so long, it was beaten to our heads in the 90s for me at least, in terms of society. I think all of us, that it's not a choice. It's not a choice.
Oh yeah, they were born that way, or
so
whatever.
If it's not a choice, then how could some dudes that are straight go and have sex? Well, it's just lonely. No.
I think it goes back to simply what Louie said. Hetero means different. Right. You cannot. Are we now going to change the meaning of words?
Yeah, that's what we do. That's what we end up doing.
Right. Yeah, but I think your guys are right. That blows the whole genetic thing out of the water. I was.
I opened a can of worms. They're sucking fucking what?
It's like that turns you on. Obviously, that's you're turned on by men. You must be.
And you know what? Fine.
Yeah,
I don't have a problem with you being gay or bisexual. But why do you have a problem with it?
Well, there you go.
The thing is, it's not like it used to be where it's closeted. It's more like they want to be like. Maybe it's another example of like a narcissistic tendency.
Although there may be one exception to the rule that I just thought of.
Oh dear.
Well, I've known of some clients who. They're drug abusers and they need their drugs. And
to get the drugs, they do things.
Oh no, that's fair. That's prostitution. That's prostitution.
Yeah. That doesn't.
It's a means to an end.
Well, because
same with gay porn. Same with gay porn.
It's the beam to your rear end.
Wait a sec. Wait. No. I don't think so. I don't know about that. Because as a straight, okay. Wait,
But if you need drugs bad enough, you're a drug addict.
No. If you're. That's
you're gonna blow your dealer for a Tina Rock if you don't have the money, man.
Yeah, I mean that's called you need to stop immediately.
That means you're fucked up. Yes, I agree.
You're absolutely going against your nature.
Yeah, but you're not necessarily doing it for sexual gratification.
But okay, but gay porn, no straight man is going to be doing gay porn for money.
I don't know. I mean, I've seen those shows.
Really?
Those shows.
Wow.
Here's the deal. Here's the reason why. I think gay porn makes a ton more money.
Yeah.
Does it?
So the dude is like, you know what? I can play straight porn and get regular, like whatever money they get or whatever. I've seen it on a show. I can't remember what it was called.
Bad shit.
I know it is, right?
Yeah.
But I guess it's like acting.
They make like, I don't know, like, yeah, they make like 3 or 4 times more if they star in a gay porn.
Fucking just money, though.
No, but see, it is another form, and I know this could be debatable too, but I've worked on people who are in the industry, and none of them view it as sexual. They view it as acting, and it's more like prostitution. It's sex work.
But it is. It's inherently. It can't not be.
Well, you got to get. I mean, like you said, Koala, you got to be able to get a hard on, right?
You can do that. You can induce that. Like that's not like they. You can figure out ways that you can.
They can take Viagra pills or something.
Sure, exactly.
I mean, I could take a million Viagra pills and. Lay next. I could take a million Viagra pills, lay next to cruise control in bed, and still not get a hard on.
No, I don't think. No, you can't. And here's why. The thing is, there's such thing as a biological response. So when people get massages, they can get a hard on, and they may not have any attraction to the therapist working on them, and they may be totally. It's actually a big deal because like people talk about it, like I'm not into guys, but somebody was rubbing my leg and all of a sudden I started feeling something. I'm like, yeah, it's a biological response. The blood circulates.
Yes. And that's what they try to get, they confuse people with. That's what a lot of times what happens with predators is what they'll do is because kids don't know any better and they'll know ways to make kids like that. But for me, it's just like, just the idea of, because what they found out about porn, about people actually watching porn and how much it affects your brain. Mm-hmm. I mean, all right. So if your brain is so affected by watching porn, literally mimics the act of sexual encounters by watching porn. In other words, one of the biggest problems with porn and why it's such an addictive thing is that every time you see a new woman or man or anybody else you're watching, you're seeing a new sexual partner. it's in your body. Your brain doesn't know the difference. It's seeing that.
So it's like you're having sex.
Yeah, it's just like you're having sex with a new person. So every time you watch somebody new, your brain needs more and more because it's getting used to having so many. It thinks it's having a sexual partner.
I just think porn is boring as fuck, but that's just me.
They don't. Yeah. But they don't watch it when they're acting, and oftentimes,
but they're acting. So in other words, it's just that'd be even crazier. So you're telling me that if you watch porn, you're more affected. That your brain is more affected than by doing it.
Yeah, because in many cases, we're also talking about people with drug issues and people that oftentimes are on drugs doing it.
How does that? This doesn't seem possible.
Cocaine is a huge one. Like, well, let's get you. Mainlined on cocaine, and they're because they're not watching it. They're just going through the motions. Like why prostitutes can do the same thing. It is a higher form of that. It's just filmed.
See, this makes me think of this makes me believe now, and it's put. And I mean, I think I've heard this up before. I just haven't really
just put two and two together, kind of thing.
But this makes me think that sexual orientation may be more of a choice. Because if you're able to simply do it and just get paid because of money and just do it because of money and do it in a cold way, then maybe it's just an attraction that I decided I like this, but
you're just talking about sex though, because I think a lot of what fuels most people's choices as far as that goes is they want a relationship.
Imagine it'd be like someone saying, hey, how much would you guys get paid to get shit on?
Right.
Right, and they do.
I know.
Like, hey, you give me enough money, I'll swallow a turd.
Let's ask the most important question we've ever asked here on the Drunken Sacrum Show. What is your price point for getting shit on?
Where?
Wow.
No, it doesn't. No. Your face.
How about your face? Yeah, your face.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, would you see people do that?
Yeah, I know they do, but I don't know if
Louie's like, I'm out of this shit. I'm taking my cherry Dr. Pepper and rolling.
No, I mean, I wouldn't do it.
I don't think there is a amount of money to make me, take a turd to the tonsils personally, but that's just me.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
What would make you do it though?
I'd have to
nothing.
Yeah, I'd have to be passed out.
No, what if somebody was going to hurt like your child or your love? Like somebody. Would you let someone
honey,
shit in your face?
I'll see you in heaven. Shit happens.
I don't know, man.
It doesn't happen.
Let me shit on you, or I'll kill your kid.
Boy,
Ooh, yeah, that's one of those crazy.
Being that I don't have kids, I guess it's kind of like,
this is pretty far into the audio, right? So maybe I can say this without any problems.
Yeah.
Okay.
As they were trying to take a shit on me, I would stab the shit out of them and kill them off.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. I like that. Yeah, because that's an option. We didn't.
I would.
Although then they might have the post-mortem feces, where they.
I would trick them into. Well, then I'd push them out of the way.
Yeah.
I'd get out of there. But
I think they usually just have that if like asphyxiated, right?
I don't think so. I think that happens all the time, right? Your bowels.
Yeah, I think it's always
everything like that.
Oh, okay.
So we're getting into one of my favorite little categories here, the serial killers.
But I thought you were thinking shitting on the face was a favorite category.
No,
so like the I don't know if you ever heard of Gary. Yeah, I don't know if you ever heard of Gary Ridgway. He was a Green River killer.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh. So what he would do is he would have the prostitutes go to the restroom first, so that when he would choke them to death, they wouldn't make a mess, quote unquote.
Oh,
right.
Okay. Huh. Interesting. So they empty out everything, so that way. Okay.
Well, that's a common thing for serial killers as well. It's like that crazy germ phobia or just like cleanliness phobias.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, a lot of them are kind of.
Well, it was in his house, and I guess he didn't want any kind of evidence behind.
Yeah. Well, I
mean,
guess
that's fair if you're gonna embark on that.
Well, all you got to do is clean up the shit.
What a clever psychopath,
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
seriously,
right.
It's also
that's what happens when you don't. He didn't get caught for 20 years, so.
Oh, well, I guess he was doing something right,
What's really weird is that he had an IQ of 80, which means that he's pretty dumb, right?
Yeah.
But you don't got to be too smart to figure out you don't want someone shitting in your.
But that's what I'm saying. Like in the art of serial killing was really smart. He outsmarted all these freaking cops.
Well, that's it. Yeah. So he knew
he's a savant, maybe.
He could be a savant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very possible.
But I just think
in his interviews, he sounds really dumb. Like there's times where I'm like, dude, how did you get away with so much?
Well, Charles Manson sounds stupid too. You ever hear him get interviewed?
Yeah, well, he didn't.
He just sounds
do it though.
Oh no,
he just had charisma for I guess.
I don't know how.
He was able to convince other
people.
To kill for
Well, they
him.
were on acid and stuff. I mean, you're subjective.
I've heard, you hear different stories all the time. You always see these newer, there's a new update on something that may have happened. And I think he may have stabbed one dude.
Oh. But other than that,
almost to show them how it's done, kind of thing.
Oh, to kind of train his subjects.
You know what? Right. Yeah, there was yeah. And his thing too was that he picked his
she's getting excited over there about them serial killers.
No, I am. I'm intrigued because when I was 7, just turning 7, the Night Stalker was active. And
Richard Ramirez.
Yeah, and it actually
the fucking serial. I'm like,
it affected me because he killed somebody, actually 3 people right down the street from my aunt.
Oh boy!
And we were going to stay there the night that it happened.
Really?
And one reason we didn't was because there was like a lot of us kids, and my dad was like, I know you're going to want the windows open and we can't do it because, he can get in, and that's what he did. He never went into a closed window. And so I remembered, when she called us later. And so I was always fascinated by serial killers after that.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I was always,
especially that one.
I liked fake serial killers like Michael Myers and Freddy Krueger
and Jason. I'm actually wearing a Jason shirt right now.
Nice, dude.
I actually saw a thing. It was like a copycat. Well, he was a killer. The guy actually beat his mom to death with a sledgehammer and then burned the house down. And he's 15 years old, but the way he talked, he had this monotone voice. Oh, sir. I did not, and it sounds like he's trying to be the stereotypical serial killer, like wanting to, make that his identity. It's crazy. I'll have to send you the video, Koala, that I watched.
I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have.
Well, it's the interrogation. It's the police interrogation.
I'm actually curious why. Okay, we've got copycat killers, right? We've got copycat serial killers, to copy, like Bundy or whatever, and everybody else, Dahmer and all these guys, all these, those are the ones I don't follow that kind of thing because, guys, I don't follow that kind of thing, guys.
You just not abrasive.
I'm not abrasive. I'm not looking at the dark side of life like that and trying to be fascinated by it because
you're shaming.
But you still need to be tolerant of it. You got to be tolerant.
Serial shaming.
But here's my question: why hasn't anybody done a copycat of like a Jason at a summer camp? And why haven't you heard of like 15 people massacred at Camp Johnson's, over the break, copycatting, like Jason Voorhees or like they copy the real people, but they don't copy the movies.
Interesting. Yeah, you think they would copy movies first, right? Because that's usually what people do.
Have any of them done that?
So I saw one that claims. Okay, so I'm trying to remember.
Actually, Louie, your boy Albert Bandura. With the modeling theory, remember that?
Yeah.
So that was there's one for you.
Like social learning.
Yeah, you think they'd get that from the actual like Cruise Control said, what more people would imitate what goes on in the movies,
Here's the deal. Like there's 2 serial killers, which is Dahmer, and then a guy named what is his name? Elude me right now. He's the Gainesville Rip. His name is the Gainesville Ripper. Danny Roy.
Oh, what is him?
Danny what? Danny Roy?
Danny Rolling.
Oh, Rolling. Okay. I haven't heard that name.
Like rolling down the hill.
Yeah, rolling.
Danny Rolling.
Huh. Like your head is rolling across the floorboards as it's
yeah.
So they both watched The Exorcist 3, and if you don't know what The Exorcist 3 is about, you would think it's just about like devil worship and blah blah blah. But what it's really about is somehow the spirit of a serial killer is in one of the dudes.
Oh shit!
And he comes out, and it's actually the guy who plays Chucky, Brad Dourif. You know who Brad?
Oh wow!
Dourif? Yeah, he's the guy who plays Chucky, but he's like a real guy, a real dude.
That's actually a pretty decent movie. George C. Scott is in that one, I believe.
I didn't realize there was an Exorcist 2 or 3. I just thought I saw the first one. So
Exorcist 3 came out in 1990.
Yeah.
And,
shit.
They made a big deal out of how Jeffrey Dahmer saw it, but also right before his killing spree, Danny Rolling saw it too. And I'm like, what's with this movie? Why did it inspire? Why did it inspire two serial killers to do?
If it happened today, I would say it was because they wanted to try to find a way to dodge the responsibility of it.
Probably.
Well, because it wasn't me. I was just fucked up by a fucking spirit.
The serial killer, the serial killer spirit guy. His name in the movie was Gemini, right?
Right.
And later on, Danny Rolling tried to say that it was Gemini who did everything.
Oh, gee. Oh, so he tried to blame it on the spirit from the movie.
Yeah, he tried to pull that craziness.
Well, that's the thing. In today's world, with
he was lying.
He
was lying.
It might fucking work today. Like they talk about tree spirits and twin spirits, and maybe he disidentified as Gemini for a while. And then he decided that he just all of a sudden just didn't identify anymore.
I mean, everybody saw through his bullshit, but nowadays, you're right.
Yeah, I'm just being tall. Listen, we have to understand his lived experiences.
And he should be able to come back to our neighborhood because
seriously,
that would be wonderful if the kids could learn from Gemini.
Yeah, he's just a murder attracted person. Okay.
Yeah,
murder attracted person.
He's not a serial killer. No. That's really that's a serial killer, folks.
Well, Max, it's on Bard. It's called the Gainesville Ripper. If you ever wanted to.
Oh, okay. I'll check it out.
It's a really good book, actually.
The Gainesville Ripper.
Yeah, you guys do serial killer shit. Oh yeah, I like that.
Well, yeah, I like all kinds of shit like that. The most twisted shit I like to watch.
Well, you got to read the books. You don't want to watch the movies because I tried to watch something.
I was just going to say the
Strangler, and it was like, no, that's totally.
Oh yeah, the movies suck. The movies are always bad,
and they always try to make the serial killer look like fucking like some kind of like in some ways cool.
Yeah, like I'm even the Jeffrey Dahmer movie. They made him. He was kind of this, kid that everybody liked, and
You know what? That movie, that show, the documentary that was on Netflix.
It was actually a movie. It was out in theaters.
Okay. So the movie, I don't know.
Okay.
I haven't seen the movie.
I saw that new doc.
The Netflix documentary, very good.
I think I did see that.
Very true to events. And even the dude, who's the actor, he has a lot of Dahmer's mannerisms. I'm like, holy smokes, he's really a good actor.
What's funny about that movie and about that Netflix show and Another Sign of the Times? And it keeps coming back to this damn trans stuff. But I guess there's hints in the movie or in the show that he's transsexual or gender? Transsexual.
Really?
Right?
Well, he is gay.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
He was gay.
He killed only men.
But that's the thing. But there are people out there going, this movie is just really putting certain groups in a bad light. It's like,
oh boy,
cannibals.
Somebody's always got to. Well,
seriously,
right.
You know what Jeffrey Dahmer told Pee Wee Herman, right?
They're putting cannibals.
Don't play with your food.
Light.
Don't play with your food. Yeah, they're putting it in seriously. We're putting cannibals.
I thought we did that in Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, it's really eating us up inside.
Hey, you know what Pee Wee told Jeffrey?
What?
When they hear the drill, they'll scream real loud.
God, that fucker! I gotta say, he was one of the most annoying fucking characters ever. God,
and of course, he gets caught in the fucking theater
jerking off, doing his thing.
What a crazy! But that shouldn't have stopped his show. Kids, that shouldn't have ruined his career.
No, he was only just expressing himself.
I guess think about it, man. How's the guy gonna find he's Pee Wee fucking Herman.
That's true. It'd be kind of hard for him to find a partner, right?
No, he probably could, but I mean, that's probably the trade-off is that he made so much money and was so famous. But then it's like, oh yeah, so who you banging? Oh,
you're Pee Wee shaming.
No,
Pee Wee.
I'm Pee Wee.
Pee Wee Sperman.
I'm Pee Wee shaming. I'm Pee Wee shaming.
Damn.
And it doesn't hurt that Louie's drinking a cherry Coke. Oh, sorry.
So, man,
fucking talking chair, dude.
Oh my gosh,
fucking
talking cherry.
Talking cherry. Cherry the chair.
Yep.
Cherry. You don't know about Cherry? Oh, you didn't watch the show. You hated the show.
It's the Pee Wee cartoon.
I didn't watch. I don't even know
too old.
The reference.
Well, it came out of 87, 86, or something like that. I don't
know.
Yeah,
but I just never liked Pee Wee. I just was like,
I never did either. I thought the movie was funny, and the movie is actually interesting because if you watch the movie as an adult, there is some fucking adult shit in the movie.
Really? I'd have to see it. I'd have to see it again to really get the.
Oh, you always got to watch things as an adult.
Yeah.
Because then you can catch all the little nuances you miss.
I know some shows I've watched, like some of the older, like Archie Bunker and Sanford and Son. Now, those are funny now that I'm an adult. But back in the day, I didn't.
The Flintstones,
Oh, man, Archie Bunker's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Archie.
Oh, Archie Bunker is.
I didn't say Bonnie. I said Archie. Archie Bunker, Sanford and Son, the Jeffersons.
Yeah, Archie Bunker is awesome, dude.
Oh yeah.
Like I remember everybody was like, "Don't watch him. He's racist. Don't watch him. He's racist." And I'm like, let me just see for myself.
Yeah, let me make that.
And he was racist.
He was, but it wasn't that bad. Like,
but again, the joke is on the racist. It's not on the race. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's the thing.
The joke is on him. The whole point of the show was to make it look
like, well, what an idiot this guy is. He's a racist. So the joke was on racism.
Now you can't even do that because you just can't have it at all.
Oh no.
Yeah.
You'd offendify some people.
But it's so funny. He'll be like, "Yeah, I know you spics do this and this," and then I'm like, "Oh my god, that's hilarious."
Oh yeah. Well, I remember the one somebody sent me a clip where he's like, "Because them was the first pigs." He's talking. I forgot what he was talking about, but it was something about.
Well, there's one that I saw that he said he ended up, I don't know how he ended up going, but he ended up going to a Ku Klux Klan meeting.
Oh shit!
And I mean, he's racist, but he's like, no, I'm not going to be part of that group. I'm not.
So that's
that
interesting.
Crazy.
Okay, so they even showed that he had a kill switch.
Yeah, he's racist like most people are racist, where they just throw out fucking things about groups around people that they know. And then when they're around most individuals, they're just like, they just forget that because they realize that they're dealing with other people or just don't even think about it as much.
So he goes to a meeting because he's like, well, I better go at least, I'll just go.
Right.
Oh, jeez.
I'd have to see that episode. That's funny.
Yeah. It's really good. And he says, yeah, I just don't want to join because, of my people. And they're like, what people are you talking about? He goes, black people. And he tries to dance.
See, that would have been taken the wrong way too. Like,
oh, totally.
Yeah, that's funny. That's really funny.
Oh shit! You guys remember a movie called White Men Can't Jump?
Yeah,
remember from the 90s?
Oh yeah,
but that was perfectly okay to have
with Woody Harrelson and what's that dude's name? Wesley Snipes.
Snipes. Yep.
Yeah.
And we don't see him anymore, do we?
They would never. Yeah. So that's a different.
But he's really dark, so it's kind of hard to see him.
That and all the taxes that he's been, that he owes.
That's a little side shaming.
Black men can't file.
Black men can't pay.
That's the
can't file taxes. Can't file taxes.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
We're
going there, are we?
No, we're not going. We're gonna. Well,
you know what? I want to tell.
We're just being ridiculous.
What this is going back to
our 5 listeners will boycott us.
Yeah. Well, oh no, I think they'll love us. Because matter of fact,
we're spreading hate.
Yeah, that's what we do.
As long as we say white men can't jump, har har, that's fine. Or
that's
as long as we say, well, because That's okay. It's okay to say white men can't dance. It's okay to say white men can't jump. We have no rhythm.
Yeah, whatever. We have no culture.
You ever watch Fred Astaire? Yeah.
Oh, Fred Astaire.
Tell me white people don't have rhythm, or Gene
Kelly
and
Ginger Rogers.
Yes. All those people. That takes fucking rhythm to do that.
Oh,
or even Led Zeppelin.
Back when black people weren't even allowed in films.
Yes.
Sammy Davis Jr. was around then.
He was around then. Yeah, they allowed him. Yeah, I mean, he was.
Yes, and he acted like a white man too.
Yes,
so he could.
And we applauded him while he sat in his own section. So
we did.
He sat with his peopleses,
and that's past, and that's but that's the thing. That's the past.
Oh yeah,
that's the past. And I wasn't born then, so ain't my problem.
Right. I wasn't around. I don't know anybody's shit, so
I don't know shit to anybody, man. People owe me, man.
Yeah. I've been compressified. I've been
I do want to say that though. Like, I just want to go into a room, somebody's talking about, well, I just feel so marginalized. And, like I was in the store the other day and someone looked my way and they were white. And I knew they thought that I was suspicious. Like, why did you think they were suspicious? Why do you think
were you suspicious of them?
Yeah. No, that's my point. Why do you think you thought they looked at you suspiciously? Because they're white. So wait a second. You thought that they were being racist because you did assume they were looking at you racistly. But then like say, well, you know what? Let me tell you a little story. See, I was born with a visual impairment. I was blind in my left eye, and very, very blind in my right eye, almost totally blind. And I've been, if you look in a room and there's 100 people in the room, there's a 95% chance that I'm going to be the blindest motherfucker in the room, which makes me a bigger minority than you will ever be. Do you know how every time I go into a grocery store, I know that I'm going to be the only one with one blind left eye and 22/40 vision in my right.
See?
And I'll never... Why can't they have a half-blind, visually impaired superhero with coloboma?
You better make one.
My point is,
people are going to look.
Well, do you remember a long time ago in the 90s, I think, the NFB tried to boycott Mr. Magoo because they said that he was fumbling around and acting like a blind person, and they were making blind people.
I don't remember that, but then again,
Yes.
I don't follow anything NFB, so I guess maybe that's why. But man, that's pretty retarded. So they were pissed off at Mr. Magoo.
Well, here's the only thing I will say about Mr. Magoo, okay, is that they made his blindness kind of stupid.
Yeah.
That's true.
Like that's what bugs. That's an interesting thing. I've never talked about Mr. Magoo before because there's other blind, characters like Daredevil who is blind,
who's like a badass and
And there's nothing wrong with him being dumb, but they made his blindness make him dumb. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because he's blind, that's why he's so clumsy and stupid. Yeah.
My favorite representation of blindness is the Book of Eli.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Denzel, huh?
Now, does that mean that there shouldn't be a Mr. Magoo? That because some people I found it like because I watched that Leslie Nielsen movie with him because Leslie Nielsen did a live action Mr. Magoo.
Yeah, that's the one that they were boycotting.
Yeah, and I don't get it in terms of I get why they're angry because they're a bunch of fucking self-righteous blind blinkies,
of course. NFB stands for Nazi fucking blind guys.
Yeah, because they think that fucking they're one of those identity politics people. Those are blind. Those are people. Those are what did Dan was our favorite saying again?
Entitled.
Those are blind people, while we are people who happen to be blind.
That's
their
true.
identity is based upon their.
That's true. Their identity is their blindness. That's true.
So when Mr. Magoo makes fun of that shit, we'll go.
I mean, that's actually their saying, though.
It is?
Their saying is we're just people who happen to be blind.
Well, of course you're just people who happen to be blind. It's not like you choose it. You don't get up in the morning.
Yeah, but there are people who base themselves on that. Like you can see the difference.
And that's true.
Yeah. It's stupid. And it's a thing that my mom used to work in the Blind Babies Foundation, which is a thing out here where it teaches parents how to interact with babies because babies are mostly visual.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she said that, that was one of the, she's like, oh, you have a blind child. Oh no, you have to see the person who is blind. She's like, oh Jesus, really?
Oh God, people first language or whatever the fuck
I have to do whatever. But the interesting
person of colorless.
I think isn't it called people first language or some dumb shit? There's some kind of term that they use, I think.
Yep, that's exactly what it's called.
Wow.
What do you think about that?
I was thinking about the Mr. Magoo thing though, and how everybody's offended that they made him look stupid. And yet movies like Mask, where
that's true. Oh,
they're
with the
feeling
color?
People's faces.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
totally.
and which is a sensitive subject for me.
Oh yeah.
And then the colors, and then other movies like what's the one I'm thinking of? Oh, At First Sight with Val Kilmer, where
he walks to the window
therapist, but he also has like this Marilyn Monroe way of talking. As a blind person, he says,
of course, he's very, oh, yes.
He's so passive. And then he lives in a small town and his sister takes care of him. How did nobody boycott that? Because I find that actually much more offensive than a comedy movie, which is a comedy. We all know it's bullshit.
Right.
That's the
it's all stupid.
It's just like saying Charlie
Charlie.
Chaplin.
Mask is supposed to be based on a true story.
I've heard things about that one too.
What put your hand on the ice and that's blue and
he went to Bloomfield and I know people.
Yeah, he went to Bloomfield.
I know people that knew him.
Okay,
the only person that I knew that knew him was James Wright.
Yeah, I heard that James Wright said he was kind of like really quiet. And was like didn't talk
Norm,
to anybody.
Norm was in the movie, right?
Yeah, but I mean, but did she really put her hands on his face and go, "You have a very nice face"?
I don't know.
There was
like that kind of shit.
That.
I mean, I'm sure that he had elephantitis and he worked there.
It's never happened at camp before. I've never seen.
We don't go up and grab each other's faces. What the fuck is it? Yeah.
I mean, the funny thing is like. Why do sighted people think we want to do that? We've never, if they even see us, I had one counselor at EHC ask me that, like, do you want to feel my face? I'm like, have you ever seen any of us feel each other's faces?
That's the answer we should give.
One person, here's the deal.
Here's what it is.
In my lifetime that has actually done that to me.
Oh, somebody actually touched your face?
No, somebody actually touched my face because she had been blind like barely for like, I don't know, 5 years or something like that. And
she saw masks.
She was in her 70s or something, like she was.
I would get creeped out if somebody wanted to feel my face. I think I'd be like, this is fucking weird. What,
And she would always, she did it like one time and I was like, this is the weirdest thing ever.
Right.
Like, oh, you have such a handsome face. I'm like, how
because they're told that they're supposed to do that. They're told they're supposed to do that. That's why she did it.
Well, this is a sighted person's representation of a blind person. Like, oh, they must want to feel your face. They can't see it, so they got to touch it.
And here's the difference between us, and what I was talking about with the identity of people putting themselves first and getting upset about Mr. Magoo. If someone did do that, we might make him like make a joke and make him feel kind of maybe make him feel a little shame and a little bit like, oh, maybe that was stupid, but we wouldn't lose our shit like these people losing their shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, we wouldn't make a scene out of it and go, you're stupid.
Oh, speaking
of crazy.
That, yeah. Remember years ago on the Super Bowl, because I remember you called me Cruise Control when they were talking about one of the players. They said, and his father's blind and gets around his own house.
Oh, wow.
And I remember you calling me out. You were like, did you fucking just hear that? I was like, yeah. So, but I mean, you know how people trip out over a nipple slipping out at the Super Bowl or some other woke bullshit that happened or, whatever, you don't see us losing our shit over something like that. Like that's
also because it's the guy doing like the color announcements, right?
Yeah. He's just
because those people are an entertainment they're a bastion of entertainment. Listen to what they say, and everybody knows that they're dumb as fuck.
Yeah.
It's like we've got 60 yards of instant offense. You're like,
what's funny about what's funny about that is they used to, for a while on NBA TV, they used to have games on where they would let the game go without any announcers, and the announcements you'd hear when someone scored a basket were the actual announcers in the arena.
Yes.
Oh wow.
And it was the coolest shit. Like, I know since you're not a fan of but whatever sport you like, but you can.
I don't know though. As a blind person, you kind of want to know what's going on, though, right?
Yeah,
you know?
but that'd be the radio announcement. But see, that the problem with TV is they never talk about what's going on because it's all about well, when LeBron James, when he was 14, he went out and he got a bucker ducker and went in the backyard and fucked him in the fucking, took him in the yard and
let the livestock fuck him,
and
LeBron
James he'll make a basket. Oh, a basket made by LeBron James. Oh, by the way, did you know LeBron James can make a massively awesome bakayaki? He brought us a slam dunk by LeBron James.
That's true. It is always very stupid, irrelevant shit to talk about.
I think you're confusing baseball and basketball.
Football too. They
there's
do
not enough. Well, maybe in
irrelevant.
football, sure, because there's in between time, right? You got to move the chains. You got to do fix the clock sometime. You got to do little things, so they have to fill in time.
Well, so you just come.
You can't do that.
Well,
in basketball, you can't do that.
No, it's moving fast. It's moving fast.
But they still do it in between. Instead of talking about the play, they could talk about what happened with the play and he passed the ball here. But on TV, they don't go. He passed the ball to Johnson. Johnson passed the ball to Bill. They go pass the ball to Johnson, and then a shot by Joe. Because they don't. Especially they used to be. They used actually. Let me rephrase that. They used to be, and this is a way that it's regressed in the 80s and 90s because they used to have dual broadcasting.
Correct.
The same broadcasters who broadcast on TV would be
we're on the radio as well.
Hearn. I grew up with Chick Hearn. I'm sure you.
Chick Hearn. Yep.
Exactly. So I knew exactly what was going on TV. Yep. And that's how I learned basketball because he'd say pass to Verde, where they pass Johnson pass to Scott, what passes? Oh, what a score! And then they talk about the play.
And he was so good because he could even make a joke in the middle. Johnson passes to Johnson, no relation, and passes to Scott. Passes to so-and-so.
Right, just to slip something.
And that's why I don't like basketball is because they don't do that now.
Well, they don't do that. Well, it used to be on all sports. Even football used to be the same way. Now, what happens with a lot of sports is they won't talk about the plays afterwards. They'll go on and talk about their own bullshit,
stupid shit, statistics and his.
They'll just start in the playoffs. What were they saying? It was Kansas City and Jacksonville game, and they were talking about. Well, this is when why the playoffs are so amazing to watch because this is when Andy has to make the tough calls as the coach.
And you're going, man, what the fuck's this got to do with anything?
What the fuck are you? He doesn't have to do that through the whole season to get to the playoffs.
He played like shit the rest of the season, but now all of a sudden he's fucking it up, man.
Yeah. You know what, guys? Just to let you know, the team with the biggest score, they're going to win this game.
Right? Yeah. This is the class. I remember Seattle and Atlanta years ago, and I remember this because very cold day, but playoffs, and I'm watching it with my brother and some friends, and this is the classic 6-minute scenario. Blah 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 blah. I'm like, really? It is. And then it was the classic 4-minute scenario. Then it was the classic 3-minute scenario, and then I shit you not, it was the classic 2-minute scenario.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you want to bet? This is just going to get to the classic, 1 minute scenario. And we could never figure out what that scenario was.
Yeah.
What's he even talking about? What are they referring to? You know what I mean?
And then you got baseball, and then you got with the Giants, John Miller just talking about bullshit. You're like, how are you? You've got a beautiful voice. That's how you got into the Hall of Fame. But your announcing is shit.
Well, okay, so even I was listening to some old Harry Carey stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he's an awesome little announcer, right? But there's times where you know that you heard the bat crack the ball, hit the ball.
Yeah.
And
not going
he's
there.
in the middle. He's in the middle of his little spiel about something.
Yeah.
So
And he doesn't want to tell you what just happened. Somebody just hit him.
And then he's like, oh yeah, and Ryan Sandberg just hit a double. So he's on second base now. And you're like,
damn, you just missed that whole thing, as it happened,
Yeah.
You got the fans going, ooh, and he's back there going,
Yeah.
And back when he had prostate cancer, they had to, it's like, the fuck does this have to do with
Exactly. Well,
what's funny is, so I just like you were talking about Chick Hearn. When it comes to baseball, I was a Dodgers fan. I still am.
Mm-hmm. Scully,
a Dodgers fan.
Yeah.
Then Scully.
Yeah.
And probably one of the best announcers ever because he would interrupt his what somebody was saying. What somebody was saying was,
yes,
people must have read his mind or something, because for some reason he'd be able to finish his spiel before somebody hit the ball.
Yeah. Brilliant.
It's scripted, man. It's scripted.
So he would call every single play like it, even if it was in the middle of his little thing. He'd be like, "Yeah, and he just cracked the ball and hit the ball to right field," and
yeah.
But he'd continue on and do whatever, and then this next guy is coming up. He's got, and I'm like, how the hell do you know everything about everybody, dude?
Yeah.
No, he was amazing. He was amazing.
Yeah.
My parents are from down there, so they're Dodgers fans. So
yep.
Like, and that was back when people took broadcasting was serious, like an actual. They took it seriously. Like they took those games. Like I said, Chick Hearn was no nonsense. He would make jokes, of course, and they'd have fun, but it was never like during the plays.
Right.
It was always during timeouts and stuff like that. Stu Lance is like,
well, that's the thing now. They bullshit too much. That's kind of, I think who popularized that might have been John Madden. Because he would always say some dumb shit all the time.
Yeah, he kind of. I was never a huge Madden fan.
No, he knew the sport, and he was a good coach.
And he was bombastic. He was exactly.
Just was not a good announcer.
But he'd always say something dumb, like, well, if you look at the past 5 games, there were and he'd throw out some statistic and some other dumb shit, and you're just like, this guy's kind of a moron.
There's this impressionist. His name is Frank Caliendo.
Yep. He does them all the time.
He does a good Madden impression.
I'll have to check that out.
Made him famous.
He said one time, he said something like that John Madden had said something like, if you mix water with dirt, you get mud.
Yeah. I mean, it was stuff like that. And then Al Michaels, who was a great announcer, got such less billing, than Madden.
Madden was the color commentator. That's why.
Well, right, but everybody loved Madden, and nobody, Michaels.
I like Pat Summerall was good. Al Michaels was good. Some of those some of the color commentators were good. Like the guy from I liked him. No one else really liked him. I liked Dan Fouts a little bit when he was on. He was the quarterback for the Chargers, but like I said, the color commentators are there to fucking just talk, just fucking blather about
pretty much. They're showpieces, That's what they are.
Well, it's like the ladies that go down and interview the ass
things.
Yeah, I mean, they don't really
like that guy Joe Necro, who used to do the baseball stuff sometimes. He was really good.
Well, as long as they're clipped, they got to be clipped. But they talk about, like I said, they go, well, last week, John, our third baseman, John Johnson's up on that. John Johnson, he had a colostomy bag attached to him 4 years ago, and he was still playing the game. And one time he swung the bat and ripped off his colostomy, and everything got really messy.
He would just talk about the play. He would talk about the play.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they would say, he would be like, "Oh, that was such bad base running." He's like, "Yeah, you gotta be able to tag and know what you're doing before you do." Like he would say stuff like that. And
so you'd have Colostaball.
Like he would
try to knock your colostomy off.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is, like, he would teach you how the game should be played, and you're like, "Oh, I didn't even know that." That's what you're supposed to. And like, "Oh, I learned something new about the game."
Yeah, that's how I learned basketball when I was a Laker fan. With the 80s, because he showed you'd watch, and because I would watch because it was on Prime Ticket in Vegas. I would watch, and then I'd watch him, but I'd hear him comment. Yeah. And but if you didn't watch, you knew exactly what was going on still.
Oh yeah.
You didn't know the exact dunk or whatever, but you knew it was a slam dunk. You knew it was right. And it wasn't just like that. Like I said, it was rapid fire. Like it was dribbles in the drive. 2 seconds left on the clock. 1 second left. The score.
Right.
And now, and then you'd watch it and you learn how to know all the fouls and stuff like that. Now I don't know how. Now I know why people don't.
That's why I don't like it.
Well, I was telling a friend of mine who's a sighted friend. We were talking about this very same thing the other day, and I was like, Bob Costas, and he goes, "Oh, I love Bob Costas." I said, "I can't stand Bob Costas." And they're like, he's like, "Why?" And I said, "Because this is what he'll do. He'll announce, like, let's say if it's basketball, like when I used to watch during the Michael Jordan days, okay? Mm-hmm. He would say, Michael to Scott, Michael. And then you hear, and you're like, well, what did he do? Did he make
Yes.
a
Right, what just
3-pointer,
happened?
a 2-pointer?
Yes.
What did he do? Like,
Right. So you have no
tell me
idea
what he did.
who did what, you know?
Yes.
Well,
Michael,
you know that
Scotty.
Michael did something, but
Yeah.
what was it?
What
You
was
don't
it?
know. Yeah. You know, he accomplished a thing.
And then he'd go,
Yeah,
yeah,
Michael
Michael.
accomplished some shit.
He'd go, Michael, Scotty, Michael. Michael has 17 points over the last 3 games with 2 minutes left
you're
on the
like,
shot
thank
clock.
you, but I
And
don't
it's
know
like,
what he did just
but-
now.
yeah.
Right.
Because they talk about some random shit like, did you know that Michael had scored the first points in the game 3 games in a row? Okay.
Well, and you know what I think are the biggest waste of spaces too, are like the down on the field interviews.
Oh God!
Oh,
Oh God! They are so terrible in the NFL.
It's always these women, and they all have to sound masculine.
Oh yeah,
like in their way.
Or they got to sound They got to sound business.
Very mad. Yeah.
So
very matter of
what
fact,
we're doing here is we're talking to quarterback. Blah, 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 blah. And you're like, oh God.
That's how they sound too.
That is how they sound.
Damn.
and they'll say like, Coach Johnson said before the game. Coach Johnson said he was really looking forward to the offensive line putting in the work today. He said it's integral to winning the game. Like,
yeah, of course it is.
yeah.
With that ankle, we've got him wrapped now, and the medics are looking at that, and it looks definitely swollen. But we're gonna, they're hoping for a good outcome.
Later when I'm allowed into their locker room, I'll pretend not to compare.
That is an awesome impersonation of them, by the way. That's great.
What is her name? There's a one lady who was really famous.
Oh God, there's a bunch of Aaron Andrews,
Michelle something.
Michelle Tafoya.
Yeah, that's her name.
Yeah,
Just stop.
It's like later when I'm in the locker room, I'll try not to look at their bulging fucking schlongs in the shower.
After I'm done blowing them,
I have my own schlong, by the way. I strap one on and fuck him in the ass.
When I was under the coach's desk, I heard him talking about the offensive line.
But I still have my own strap-on
fair.
dildo. Some guys like getting pegged, so
They work really hard. They do their job. They're not whores. I'm just saying that right now. I'm being on. I want to clarify that because with all the other stuff we said, and I'm sure it's the most offensive thing.
Oh no, they're total whores.
Yeah, what do you think they're doing there?
God damn whores.
Come on.
All right, guys, it's my piss
whores.
time, so I'm gonna go piss and go get some more beer.
Okay.
And you guys continue talking, and I'll be right back.
Okay, we'll talk about horse.
Okay, talking about horse and football and whatever the fuck else you're talking about.
Horse and football.
Now they have to have access to the men's locker room. I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, I mean, it's just so ridiculous. Like, why do you?
Yes. Well, sports is a spectacle, and that's the thing. Sports aren't as good as because even the players don't really do it for the most of the same sports anymore. It's like I diehard Laker fan. During the 80s, 90s,
yeah,
2000s, but I can't watch the NBA now. We talked about this before, but I just can't watch. It just doesn't seem like there's like these people are making money when they're out of high school. They're making money in college. They're not making money. They're making money in high school. They got high school AUA games that are sponsored by Nike. So that before they even get to college, they're making money and they have all the fame and stuff like that. So before it was like, like these fucking guys would get in the NBA and they would want to fucking win and they would never like jump on different teams and stuff like that, or even on any other sport, I think that's why I still like football a little bit.
Me and my wife, we like college football. We don't like the pros
college football,
because
I like
listen, the pros are a bunch of millionaires walking around trying not to get hurt so they don't screw up their contracts.
Yeah.
The college guys are like trying for that NFL spot,
Yeah.
That's almost impossible to get. And so they're working their asses off to get it,
I like to watch the best of the best, but I understand, like, I like the pro game. But I understand my problem with college is like, okay, what was the score? It was Oregon Ducks 73, the Bootin' Luton Footins 2. And it's like, and like half the games
it's not always a blowout like that.
No, but there's a lot. There's
with the Bootin', Falutin', Hootin'. They're just they're a rough team. They don't.
Their offensive line wasn't integral to the win.
No, it was definitely not.
No, it wasn't. They according to him, they only got a safety.
That's all they got. Yep.
When did the officials stop having Southern accents too? That's what I want to know. Because back in the day, it was like you couldn't understand what they said. Elton, 3-yard penalty, or whatever. And the more you couldn't
over here in
understand
Texas,
them,
they still do.
no, but they don't in NFL. And now you have these people that have had elocution lessons, and they're number 85 offense, 5-yard penalty. I'm like, I don't think he knows what he's talking about.
I think that's.
It's supposed to be
number 85.
Like, oh, he knows his shit.
Yeah, that's another thing about sports, man. That's another thing about sports that I think has ruined sports is that the refs in a lot of sports have really thought they're part of the game. They really love like the last call of the Super Bowl. And other stuff like that happens so much where it's like the refs,
there's a lot of the call in time or whatever they call it, where they time out.
In basketball, they technical fouls and the refs are strutting around on the court like they're
goddamn right, motherfucker. Yeah. I stopped this game.
Yeah,
I'm the shit.
It's a tough job, but I mean, I just think they need to have their southern accents again.
Yeah, we can have robot refs with southern accents. Because we're deep faking everybody now, anyway. So why not?
That's
well,
funny.
We have the instant replay. We can all
robots with southern accents.
Yes.
I'll tell you what, motherfucker.
Tell you what. Number 73.
Actually, they probably all sound like Boonhauer, wouldn't they? I'll tell you what, man, get on that internet.
Or like that person in the old smoking commercial who had the thing in their throat.
The one I was like,
I didn't mean to get. I should not have thought been smoking for years.
Oh God, yeah.
Number 73.
So somebody once came in over to talk to me, and nobody advised me that they had a tracheotomy with a voice box. Oh. Now you need to tell me something, because all of a sudden this woman comes up. Hi, Jeannie. I'm like,
oh shit!
Come on, guys. I want you.
That was like that. You know what that was? That was a blind person's Goonie Goo Goo moment. You know how remember Eddie Murphy made the thing about his aunt that had the mustache that he used to be afraid of.
Goonie Goo Goo.
Same shit. You're all of a sudden you hear a voice that's real fucked up, and you're like, "Ooh, shit!"
I mean, it is a speaker coming at you.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's not. It's the way it's.
Well, hey guys, now you guys are being tracheophobic.
I'm completely tracheophobic after that one.
So you guys wouldn't date a trach. You would be like, oh, I would date you.
Oh, I could fuck Howard, you. I could unscrew your little.
That is
screw
so
your little
good.
Trachea box.
Keep
Fuck you in a hole in your throat. Here we go. I could get my dick sucked two ways. I could either fuck you in your trachea.
He's got his dick in my box.
You're really hitting my spot. That is amazing.
All of a sudden, you might just start singing. You're going to sound like Pavarotti in a second.
I'm going to sound like an old cable modem.
Like dial up.
Aren't you glad you used dial?
This is my boyfriend, dial up.
It's on my phone. This is dial up.
Tell him why I call you dial up.
I love him for his cable.
No, she loves me for my cable. Oh, I run the cable.
No, I couldn't date somebody with a tracheotomy. No,
that would be a little. Yeah, no, that would be.
What do you want for breakfast? Oh no, go away.
Or you're having sex. Listen to that person moan.
Sounds like like a chewabacca on a bad phone line.
Wow.
That should be the new smoking anti-smoking ad. Do you want to sound like this with your partner?
I think it would have been better than the old one.
There's one with a woman taking a shower or something, and then she's got the trachea thing, and she's like, "I smoked for 40 years, and this is what happens," or whatever. And you're just like, "Oh," so I guess it's trying to show like it's difficult to shower because you got,
they have a commercial.
My short circuit.
They have the music in the background, the boom, 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 boom. It's like, oh, I hate when the cum comes out of my throat.
You're gonna have to come out with the trach condom.
Stop smoking the trach.
Actually, that's kind of cool though. That way she wouldn't have to spit or swallow. It would just shoot right out of her throat.
No.
The trach conceptive.
The contraceptive.
The contraceptive. Introducing.
You are all going to hell. You know that, right?
Well, it's smoky down there too, so it's all good.
You're going first. You brought it up.
Yes.
Me? No.
You are the pack leader.
I just laughed.
We defer all responsibility to you. You're our Donald Trump.
Right. Yes, you did everything. You're Mercury in retrograde.
Yeah, you're Mercury in retrograde.
That would be me.
Maxwell Quicksilver Hammer.
Well, I've been told I have no filter. That's, definitely just like the cigarettes some of them smoke.
You're going to. I have a filter.
You will now, motherfucker. Actually,
is that an accent you don't prefer?
I'll tell you what, I used to have, I had this friend, because I used to make fun of the cerebral palsy voice a lot. Like, what I was going through, like kind of doing the tard voice. This guy used to say, "Man, you're going to end up talking like that one day, man. God's going to get you for that." And, this other crazy shit.
You just all of a sudden wake up one morning, you're like, oh shit.
I'm a bick.
That'd be a great, they had the movie, like, was it called?
Like
Shallow
Big.
Hal. Like Shallow Hal, where the guy is like really mean to overweight people, and all of a sudden he sees
he's a fat fuck,
or whatever. Like they have like where you get what they get, so now it's
what comes around goes around, buddy.
Coming soon from Paramount Pictures.
That's a Twilight Zone episode.
I woke up as a tard.
Yeah, no, not a tard. You're just like you're gonna. Someone
you
says
like you're
just making a voice. Someone says the beginning of the theatrical thing. It's like, yeah, you're like gooba gooba goo. Like you're gonna end up talking that way if you keep doing that, and you just like laugh at him. Well, fuck you. Bum, bum, bum. 2 days later, he wakes up. Oh no! And comedy ensues. Jim Carrey in Cerebral Paul.
Cerebral Paul. God damn, I'm a bick. And then he like. And the guy has a public speaking job or something.
Yes, yeah. He's an executive.
Yeah.
He's got
to give presentations.
No.
Okay.
It's like Twins or Freaky Friday where he switches with the person.
Yeah.
Right?
He's a sports broadcaster.
Holding number 80.
He's a ref. No.
Actually, it'd be even funnier him as a sportscaster, I think.
Yeah.
That's the classic 4-minute situation.
Back to Queen. Back to Maya.
It's a fly ball. Oh,
and at the end of the movie, he's like,
left field.
He gets his voice back in the movie, and he's like, you know what? I don't like this. So he goes back and he finds a way to get the other voice. So he's like,
like he wants to sound like that now.
Well, he has to meet.
He goes home and shoots
meet
himself in the head and becomes a retard. And he starts.
He has to meet a girl who has a problem too, so that he wants to have to come back. And I don't know why my voice was like all bad Asian.
It's all fry ball.
But yes, he'd have to have a love interest somewhere.
Well,
Cerebral
Paul. Well, then he starts to date Cerebral Paula.
Oh God.
No, she's
Really
she dates muscular destiny.
Well, you know what happens,
and she can't get the locker interviews
that's
because
the sequel.
she doesn't have like the dyke voice. She can't do that. She keeps trying, and then finally
she's too feminine to do the.
Yeah, and finally he inspires that where she's able to. Well, but you got no broad rapping.
And they're like, wow, you can really hit him. Yeah, I think you got a spot. How about the next Clippers game? You interview fucking, whoever.
I still like the fry ball.
Fry ball.
Fry ball. I do like fry ball.
Fry
balls.
Fry ball to ref field.
Fry ball to ref field. I mean, he can do it. That's fine.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
It's Cerebral Paul.
This is our
Cerebral Paul in theaters soon. and
tolerate that.
You guys are so intolerant.
There's a new protest at the Cerebral Paul movie because it was so good that some people at the end gave it a standing ovation. This extremely offended some of
the people in wheelchairs who couldn't stand.
Yeah.
They were extremely pissed off, and protesters stood up. Parked on the steps of the courthouse.
We will not hit for this. Shit.
We
Wait, shit or sit? Shit. We're gonna shit for this or sit for this?
We're going to be the new YouTube virus. It's like the blind versus the
angry blind people.
Who do we
There were
offend?
guide dogs cutting in front of the wheelchairs.
Yes.
Actually, you know what? One of my assistants back in the day used to refer to people
Blinkies versus Rinkies.
Blinkies versus Rinkies.
The Blinkies versus Rinkies.
Wait a minute now. My old assistant, it was my first assistant actually from back in the day. She used to call people in wheelchairs GoBots.
GoBots.
Fucking
That's
GoBots.
really bad.
Yeah, that ruined the moment.
You know what they do? They because they run into you. They kind of just like try to like.
Run into you.
Why do they run into you?
I don't know. They're just like, like they think you should get out of their way or something. You know what I mean?
Oh boy.
I've heard stories where they drive over your friends. I had a guy drive over my feet in a wheelchair. I had a GoBot do it, man.
Well, it's an asshole GoBot, and he's entitled, and you whack him, and
and you try to talk. You try to talk to him. He went. You go, oh, you're not a GoBot. You're a
transformer.
he's a transsexual GoBot.
Right.
He's Psycrip. Psycrip, or
I've never had a GoBot run into me.
Oh
no! I had one at EHC, and that was fair because he didn't like me, so he intentionally would do it.
Well, see, there you go. They'll do shit like that because they don't like you. Like,
yeah, and then the one little schizophrenic. Which he actually had it on his file that he was schizophrenic, blind guy who didn't like anybody. He had my name totally messed up. He called me Miss Joanne, but for some reason he liked me. Yeah, for some reason he really liked me. He's like, yeah. So then the GoBot does this and runs into my dog and. Oh. You are a terrible person and nobody likes you. And how dare you run into Miss Joanne?
Damn.
Like, oh my goodness.
Well, that's
Let's
great.
put your claws back.
Yeah. And that's to the dog?
Because the GoBot hit her dog, I guess, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, she backed up and tried to get me out of the way. And then he ended up hitting both of us.
Oh.
But yeah, he was trying to come at me because he was inappropriate with other campers.
So
and I couldn't beat him up,
Like, I could. You're like, that's your only reason for not beating him up.
I'll knock him out of his wheelchair, dump him out of his wheelchair, and be like, "Come on, motherfucker!"
It is. That guy needed to get his clock cleaned. Let's just say that.
You know, there's certain motherfuckers, that do need their ass kicked.
That hide behind that shit, dude.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. And everybody, and then he would
does,
not buckle his seatbelt. And then he fell out of the chair after the counselor tried to buckle his seatbelt. And he's like, no, I don't want it buckled. And then he fell out of the chair. And I'm like, no, you know what?
I know secretly you guys are like, ha ha.
No, I know. I was like, this is bullshit. You're trying to get some kind of lawsuit or something. Because I guess originally he did get one that he settled on. But
now, were these adults or what age
No,
group?
he was an adult. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So this is like an adult session.
Well, part of the winning on his lawsuit was that he was allowed to volunteer in the office, which meant he could grab my ass whenever I'd walk by.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah. Nobody would say anything about his behavior. And
he's disabled. There we go again.
Right, exactly.
We're just talking about.
And we don't want to upset him because he had a lawsuit.
Wow.
You know? And so I love that schizophrenic Jack, jumped in and was just like, no. Nobody likes you.
Oh, well, because Schizo Jack has no filter. He doesn't give a fuck.
Right. He liked Miss Joanne for some reason. I don't know what I did, but
Schizo Jack has no filter. He's Maxwell. Have you considered having...
No, it was after my time, man. It was after my time. I wasn't there anymore.
No, I'm just saying, just talking about consider going to check whether you have schizophrenia.
No, but I feel like you have a filter though in places you shouldn't have a filter.
Yeah. Oh, well, of course, obviously.
My area of expertise. You're gonna have to go see a psychiatrist for that crap.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Well,
but your filter is where I would not have one. It's very interesting. Our filters are exactly opposite.
Really?
Yeah, see, Max, you're like an old English 800. You're charcoal filtered.
Okay.
Because you put up with shit I would never put up with.
Yeah.
Well, part of it's my job. You talking about that? Or?
Oh, I thought you were calling him old English 800 because he's loved by black people.
Well, there's that.
That's funny.
Why do they call it 8? I wonder where the 800 comes from.
I don't know. Well, it's like Steel Reserve 211. I don't know what the 211.
The 211 is the elemental element of steel. It's the number.
Oh, see,
like
I'm slow. I didn't pick that
Steel
up.
Reserve.
There we go.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
I believe is 211 for that.
But he's not too liked because he's not Hennessy.
He's not Hennessy.
Oh, no. So you're saying like what kind of shit? Oh, you mean like my HOA bullshit kind of thing? Or what are you talking about?
You put up with certain things with people you care about, but I think that you shouldn't like your personal assistant and your other people.
Yeah. Oh, I see where you're going.
Yeah. Stuff like that.
But then other people,
I don't put up with that shit.
Yeah.
Right.
And then at the other end of things, I might be a little bit less reactive to the paratransit people. They don't know who I am.
Right.
And they know who you are. It's just a difference in what we complain about.
They do.
And then there's where I let it fly, in those situations. You're right. But I guess with people I don't know, I do tend to be a little more, like let them have it as opposed to somebody that I care about or know. But, I'm just like, no, I don't want to ruin the relationship or whatever the fuck it is. Or,
I think Max filter is all about offending people. I think when he says something offensive and he thinks it's offensive, he has this the grin, the monkey eating grin.
I trip out on the whole paratransit thing because my wife sometimes, if the paratransit's late or something like that, she's like, you should give them your 2 cents. You normally give people 2 cents. And I'm like, yeah, but these people, I might get a ride from them again. And then if I do, they're going to be like, oh, you were that asshole the last time. So I'm going to treat you like crap now. You're going to get
that's always the
last
fear.
one dropped off home.
But there's always that fear of, I can't do that because then they'll retaliate. No, let them retaliate. You know what I mean? Because then you can hand their ass to them.
But you don't do it in your personal life.
Yeah.
Yeah. People do things and you'll go, oh, and then you'll feel, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I get it.
Or
Yeah,
I do it more in my personal life, and I'm less like, well, no, actually, I am likely. No, I guess I'm just a fucking bitch.
Just all around, like everywhere, everybody.
The big revelation of
Wow.
of the Drunken Sacred Show. Wow,
Actually,
I guess I'm just and instead of going like, you're like, whoops, oh well.
I'll let it slip. Fuck it.
Hey, too
I'm
late
nice
now.
when you're nice to me.
Too late now.
Well, that's crazy. Well, that's like kind of going back to the amazing thing. That's what I was trying to dig at. There's a guy who goes into the bar. His name's Chuck.
Yeah, so this is your other story, right?
This is my other story. Yeah, he comes in the bar.
We'll wrap up with this one probably. I think probably.
Well, and here's his thing. He's telling me, I work for this company, and we've been trying to think of a way to bring you on board. And I'm like, bring me on board for what? What the fuck and he's like, we have 3 radio stations and this, that, whatever. And I'm like, what the fuck do they want me to? He wants me to buy airtime, I'm sure. But I guess the point of this is he actually makes comments like, you are the most amazing person I've met in my whole life. And I'm 76 years old. And I'm like, I'm the most amazing person. Like, really, dude? Like, you've never met anybody more amazinger? Like,
see now this is the case where I think this is a slimy like
scumbag
trying to make you feel like, oh really?
Yeah.
But he's also playing off the whole thing that you can't stand where genuine people say that shit too.
Yeah.
So he's like doing both. He's trying to play it both ways. Like he probably thinks it makes you feel good, but the intention of it is to scam the shit out of you.
Right. It's because it's that's what it is. It's to make me feel good to go, hey, you know what? I should go ahead and buy airtime with this
somebody
dude.
Thinks I'm amazing.
He said I'm the most amazing person he's ever met, and he's 76 years old.
But you know what? He's really failing to really grab you because he hasn't said you're an inspiration yet. So he's not.
Oh, you're right. You're right. You got to use the I word.
He's not doing that, so he's not. That'd be the real, but he's not doing it out of.
No, he'd have to sing it, Peter Cetera style.
Oh yeah, you give meaning to my life. You're my inspiration.
He'd sing it like how he'd be like, "You're meaning
of my life.
You're
my
meaning to my life. You're the inspiration."
Sorry.
That was a nice Janis Joplin, by the way.
That was like a southern Janis Joplin.
I don't know. I thought he was southern.
Come here. You got a pretty mouth, fucking Peter Cetera.
Yeah, fuck you in your throat. Fuck you in your trachea.
You're the meaning in my life.
So yeah,
I need aspiration.
So yeah, I wanted to get that out because that was the whole you're so amazing. You're saying it's like, man, dude, you're putting too much cheese on this pizza, man. Come on, dude.
But dude, like I said, he's doing the double whammy. He's totally completely underestimating your intelligence, of course.
Of course. Yep.
And then he's also using the thing that we can't stand that actually genuine people do when they actually mean well with this statement.
But that's condescending too.
Yeah, but he's doing that condescending to get fucking money from you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and stroking your ego or trying to.
Yeah,
right.
Like,
right.
I'm gonna get this guy. This guy, he's like, dude, you're like a fucking amazing dude. You just make me, man. I just didn't realize how. You're
well,
inspiring.
he's like the character I would do on some of my songs, I'm like, yeah, right, and Love Bomb, bro, you're so amazing.
Have you asked him further about what he's actually doing, or is he?
It's very broad and vague, and I'm just like, well, what is it you want? What do you want me to do, man? And he's like, I just want you to come down and see how it is, and
see how what is.
Yeah, well, that's it. I'm like, well, what and he's like, I just want you to experience it and feel comfortable. Do
you ever say well, what is it? Do you ever ask him directly, what is it?
Yeah, well, that's what I will say that. I'll say, at one point, I think I even said something like,
Faith no more.
This almost sounds sexual.
What is it?
Well, they said something like, I just want to get you down there so you feel comfortable or something. I'm like, dude, that almost sounds sexual.
I just want to get you down there.
Damn amazing.
You're amazing. It'd be
what is it? No, but seriously, you should. I'm surprised you haven't asked him that direct question. Like, what are you actually doing? It's like, well, we just go and I just want you to cook. Well, I'll show you when you get there.
That's pretty much how he's going. Is I'll show you when I'll get there. You know, you'll see when you get there, kind of thing. Like, what the fuck does that mean?
Well, selfishly, I would like you to go.
Right, there's a part
like you can record it.
So many topics.
There is a part of me that wants to go. That's like, man,
I would never fucking go.
But then he's like, put this gag in your mouth first, and then we'll, you know.
Here, just drink this.
Drink this.
Does this smell like chloroform?
What is that?
GHP in it, so I can ass rape you later.
What is that?
Put your hands behind your head, just gently.
It's like everything's vague. It's like it's like, where are we going? What's the address? Well, I'll just pick you up.
Well, no, he did give me the address
for you.
He did give me the address of the place, and he says, you know, and actually he was getting kind of mad at me one time because he said something about, when are you gonna come down? Are you just blowing smoke up my ass? And I'm like,
not yet.
What do you want me to do? Not yet. Well, again, it's so vague. It's like, well, what the fuck what do you got going on there, dude? You ain't really just kind of throwing a carrot out there, you know, like, okay, well, what is that, a carrot, a piece of celery?
I think the reason you don't know more specifics is you're just trying to play it as fun, just like, yeah, they're trying to not, because the more interest you actually have, the more he's gonna cut, like, well, what do you actually do down there? Well, I thought you'd never ask.
Right. Well,
you got this pretty young thing you're gonna be on film with. I mean, you know,
it's a radio station. Now, if you bump into something large that has a lens on it, don't worry.
That's just a microphone.
That's just a microphone.
My microphone, that is. And you're welcome to talk as close to it as you want to.
You walk down the street and a couple days later, and you hear like, dude, you're the dude from Pornhub, aren't you?
Right.
I thought that was just radio.
Oh, it was Gadio.
You did like that 17 with a bang film,
and then you're like, don't worry, it wasn't sexual, it was just acting.
It's for those people who have blind fetishes.
Oh yeah, the bloodish.
No, the blind voyeurs, those who want to watch blind people get filmed and they don't know it because they can't see the cameras.
Blinks on film. Blinks on film. Because you don't know you're being filmed.
Blinks on film.
Unless it's one of those GoPros that beeps at you, you know, because those things beep when they turn them on. Beep, 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 beep.
Wait. How do you know that?
Well, because I've been watching a lot of those videos where they confront those child predators, and they always hear this beep, 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 and I'm going, what the fuck is that? And then somebody said, oh, that's his GoPro that makes that noise. And I'm like, oh, I got you.
It's like an old porn movie. So, why are you gonna let me feel your face?
Can I drill your face while I feel your face?
Let me feel your what? That doesn't feel like your hand. It's
I just want to put my hand on the back of your head.
Change the light bulb. Oh,
that's a very big.
How can you? You're blind. Well, I can do a lot of things, ma'am.
Don't worry about that.
Let me feel your face. Are you using a finger? Sure, it's my finger.
Yeah. I told you I wouldn't put my penis in your ass. I promised, right?
Yeah, so it's in your mouth.
No.
I'm just brailing your genitalia.
Let me touch your lips. I want to see what they feel like.
Let me touch your lips.
This is your genitalia. I'm trying to.
What'd you say, Louie? Let me touch your lens.
Lips.
Lips. Oh, lips.
Ooh, hey.
Touch your lips.
Little oral thing going on, huh? Yeah. Take the schwants to the taunts, man.
I'm glad you're wearing sunglasses because this won't burn your eyes.
I wear my sunglasses at night so you won't toss your load into my contact lens.
What is that song about?
I've been trying to figure that out.
I mean,
what the fuck he's talking about in this song.
He's wearing sunglasses so he can what?
Well, what is the chorus? Don't trust a man.
Don't trust the guy in shades. Something. Don't switch the blade on the guy in shades. Oh no.
Yeah. Is it don't be afraid of the guy in shades?
Yeah. Don't be afraid of the guy in shades. Oh no. Maybe he's a rapist or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but what is he? So I can. I mean, that's concerning to me.
Maybe
I never understand what that is.
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's what he is. He's a predator or some kind of sex
so
offender.
I can like can what?
See the light. Well, it says, "See the light." There is a line there that he says, "See the light. That's something in your eyes," or whatever.
All right, let's see this.
Let's Google. Yeah, look it up.
Yeah, please, because it's been bothering me.
Let's just look up the actual lyrics and see what they are. Then we'll interpret ourselves.
Yeah. Here we go.
It's been bothering me. I'm sorry, guys, but this has been bothering me for a long time. Like, what the fuck is that guy talking about?
Okay. I wear my sunglasses at night so I can watch you weave, then breathe your storylines.
Wow.
I think it's a sex offender or a rapist or something.
I wear my sunglasses at night so I can keep track of the visions in my eyes.
Yeah, he's a sex offender.
Yeah, he's at a bar just looking at women. And he doesn't want them to know he's looking at them. So while she's deceiving me, it cuts my security. Has she got control of me? I turn to her and say, don't switch the blade on the guy in shades. Oh, no. Don't masquerade with the guy in shades. Oh, no. I can't believe it because you've got it made with the guy in shades. Oh, no.
Wait, we switched the blade?
Yeah,
well, in other words, like, think he's dangerous, so you pull your knife out or something,
like that, or don't masquerade with the guy in shades. Like, this is 80s music when they actually had lyrics you had to listen to. I wear my sunglasses at night so I can, except for like Kokomo and shit like that, so I can forget my name while you collect your claim. Ooh.
Oh.
And I wear my sunglasses at night so I can see the light that's right before my eyes. He's talking about like looking at a woman, but not wanting her to look
to know that he's checking her out.
Checking her out. When she's deceiving me, she cuts my security. Blah, blah, blah.
Sounds like he's a peeping Tom or a.
I think security. I'm a security killer.
Don't be afraid of the guy. It can't escape.
That's why I wear my sunglasses.
Yeah. That's that song. So wow, you learned something there, guys.
Yeah. Well, now that we actually sat and dissected.
No, I think he is the serial killer because.
Yeah.
I think a rapist or something, and he's thinking like, don't get worked up. I'm not a scary person, but I am a scary person. You know,
I think it's more. I think it's a couple things. Yeah, like don't like he's looking at this girl and he doesn't want her to think he's fucking like stalking her, but he's
Yeah,
there's the song.
Yeah, there's something predatory.
You know that a lot of people think that the song from the Police, the "I'll Be Watching You" thing, it's like a love song, and it's actually
it's about stalking.
No, it's a stalking song.
That's a stalking song. I know that.
And people play that at their wedding and shit.
Right. Like, oh, honey, this is how I feel. Meaning, if you kick me out of the house, bitch, I'll be
standing next to the bushes.
You know? Yeah, I'll be wearing
my sunglasses at night, standing outside your window.
I'll be watching you. How would anybody not get that?
And why isn't the NFB protesting that song?
Oh yeah, it says watching.
Right. We should talk to them.
We should talk to them. Yeah.
You know, it'd be funny is if one of us did.
Like actually said, hey, guys, have you listened to that song? Like really listen to it?
It's really, can't you see you belong to me?
To me. Oh, hey.
There's a lot of reference to visual. Okay, are any of you members? Because I'm not.
No. No.
Damn.
None of us?
None of us. No. Not me.
I thought about being a member in 1994 when I was young and dumb, but
yeah. Well, that's another identity.
Yeah, that's college.
I won a scholarship, so that's how they get you. When you win the scholarship, you go to their convention and you're there with them for like a week and a half. Here, so you're
and that made you not want to join. That was enough to make you not want to join. Like, oh shit, I was with these motherfuckers.
Give me a scholarship because back then they were anti-guide dog.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, I was like,
no, there was a few people that had guide dogs there.
They were anti-guide dog? That's some
serious?
Dumb shit.
I didn't fucking get a scholarship.
Fuck
them.
Fuck them. Fuck the NFB.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I feel fuck them both.
I didn't get a scholarship, and that was like 30 years ago.
Fuck the ACB, the NFB, all these other fucking things. Yeah.
And then, of course, the ACB and the NFB, they got beef, right?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
They sure do.
You know, because it's all about money and who's getting the most fucking money. And if they're like, it's all territorial bullshit. I mean, that's how you know it's all identity bullshit and all complete bullshit. Because if you got two groups that are supposedly for the blind and they're
yet they hate each other.
They hate each other, and they do hate each other. That's actually real. That shit's real.
Yeah, they will actually talk shit about each other. You know, like
it was a split.
ACP is more
like back in the '60s. There was a split.
Oh my god,
something like that.
So what's the big?
They were once one organization.
Mm-hmm.
And there was some sort of a split back in the I don't know when.
It's like Protestants
like in the '60s.
I've heard that there's
kind of like that. Yeah, kind of like.
Well, I've heard there's
not quite as serious.
There's a thing with
there's car bombs.
Yeah. Well, none of them blinkies had cars. I guess there were cane bombs, huh? Cane bombs and guide dog bombs, huh?
I just think that's hilarious that these groups. I just wonder what the main difference in philosophy is now. I bet they're almost exactly the same, except with different names.
Yeah, it's very.
And here's the thing that I, at least from what I can pick up or what I've picked up back in the day, was that ACB was more like the entitled blind people who wanted all the. Oh, give me this, and I need this, and
sounds like NFB too.
But NFB is supposedly like we're strong blind people. We're independent blind people. We're the shit. You know, like it's like top dog stuff. Like you know.
I'm in the lookup mode tonight. This is what happened.
Wasn't there AFB too?
Yeah.
Oh, there wasn't.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So wait. American
Foundation for the Blind.
For the blind. Okay, so there's one that's So American Foundation for the Blind. NFB is a National Federation of the Blind, so it's like
versus for. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And then American Council of the Blind, right? So whenever you hear of, it's like pure blind people. Blind people run things. Blind people do all the events. Blind people do everything. If it's for the blind, the blind,
there might be some sighties in the mix, right?
Yeah, you got sighties in the mix. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that would. Huh.
Interesting. So the American Foundation for the Blind is actually a pretty decent organization because sometimes if you don't know stuff about blindness, you can kind of learn stuff about blindness.
Right, because they welcome the sighties and to kind of
in a non-political way, just like. Hey, look, this is what we use to travel with canes and stuff.
Uh-oh. What'd you find?
Okay.
Oh, dear.
This is how batshit crazy organizations will be and why you shouldn't be involved in a lot of these organizations because I know that because this is like a question about what's the difference in NFB. I know the NFB has a unique perspective of blindness and independence. They want people to be as independent as possible, no excuses. They are almost militant about it. NFB canes are longer than other canes, and they typically don't fold. Yeah, they don't fold. Why should you hide your blindness? Something inherent because the folding is convenient, you idiots.
That's exactly how you get in a car with a cane
that's
extended.
At a goddamn table in a restaurant.
And seriously, that's actually true because I saw a lot of like canes that were on the floor.
Across the floor, right?
Like across the floor.
Jesus. Yeah. You know what? And I'll tell you guys,
instead of folding them up,
I bit the apple because I saw something where they said they were giving away, like NFB was giving away canes. I'm like, oh shit, they're giving away canes? Well, hell yeah.
And so it was a straight cane, wasn't it?
Yep, it was a straight cane. I'm like, this motherfucker doesn't. Well,
there was a lady who, when I was president for another organization, don't ever do that. Because this is the whole thing. Like, get rid of the fucking organization. They're bullshit.
Stuck here all night, dude.
But they basically, this woman who was blind and she was a massage student and she came to our gala, and it's a fancy banquet, and she, to her credit, she did bring a dress and dressed up, but she had a straight cane, and I'm like, where the fuck are we going to put that?
On the floor, right? Yeah.
We're sitting at banquet table. Like you can't. So I had to organize something with the server to have her cane put over with the coats.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
And then I'd have to. And then, of course, I was the president at the time, so I was like,
it's almost like bringing attention to your blindness.
There you go, exactly.
Unnecessary attention.
Yep,
to it.
because with us, we just want to fit in, right?
And she didn't have the wherewithal. She's like, "Where's my cane?" I'm like, honey, I gotta run around. Like, I don't even know why you're sat by me. You know, I mean, I didn't say that.
I know why she was sat by you.
Well, no, I mean, you know, I said it would be okay, but you know, I had to sit with all the California people at this national convention, but I'm like, I gotta run around. I can barely eat dinner, you know, and I'm like, I gotta worry about your fucking cane, you know.
So
I put one of my friends in charge of it.
I bit a little bit of the NFB apple, and I still have a long cane to this day. Like I don't have a straight one, but I have a long cane. So like, remember when we were growing up, you go to your chest, right?
Yeah. And it goes higher than your chest, huh?
Mine only ever went to my chest.
Well, that's how it should be.
I have one that goes to my nose or my forehead.
And you know what? My old roommate, because he went to that, I call it the Retard Center in Colorado, which is an NFB living skills center or whatever the fuck it is.
Oh, is it NFB based?
It is NFB based, yes. And they push the NFB ideology and all that other shit. And I couldn't figure out why he had all these. He's like, yeah, man, I got one cane that's like way taller. It goes up to like you said, goes up to his nose or whatever. And I'm like, why do you have a cane so damn tall? He's like, so you protect your whole body. And I'm like, no, that's retarded, man. That's just
I just think it's just funny how their reasoning is, and that's exactly why that's exactly why the NFB did the whole thing with Mr. Magoo, because they're the militant ones. They're the ones like they're so far gone to the independent side, but they're not really independent because their identities are based around
the blindness. Yeah.
And that's why they have to say we're not afraid to show we're blind, and that's what leads to people doing this, which is the next question on here. First question. This will be just a joke, but we've talked about this before, but. The next question is, I know you self-identify as blind.
Self-identify?
I'm still raging from the mark that someone on another forum said to me, told me I self-identify as blind. Same as trans people self-identify as
what? Does it actually say that on there?
Yeah. So I'm going to leave that. That's another. But that's what.
No, if anybody ever self-identified as blind in front of me, I would punch them in the face.
Well, they do for everything else. They self-identify as autistic and everything else.
I know.
But I identify as a blind person. I got 20.
That's what identity politics does. It brings it down to that. Like that's an identity thing. Like that's the thing. Our blindness is a part of our identity, but it's not our identity. It's not who we are.
Right.
But that's where these groups go to. They make it about that being as something as who, like that's why you get the goddamn bullshit about speaking for blind people or speaking for black people or speaking for women or men.
Yeah. Don't speak for me, motherfucker.
As a blind person, I can tell you. No, you can't. Yeah. These people are the kind of people that will buy into that shit, you know, like
I mean,
or take your word as law, like, you know,
and this goes for any identity politics.
Another thing that happens at those conventions a lot of times, because I was studying electrical engineering, so of course I got connected with people who were electrical engineers that were blind or partially blind or blind, right?
Okay.
And one of the guys, you could tell that he was just like, I'm part of this organization, but half the stuff I don't even really believe. It was almost like that.
Right. He paid his money, his $20 or whatever it is.
Yeah, right. And he was an engineer, right? And he told me, he goes, yeah, you don't have to clap at everything if you don't want to. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to. Like, you know, because that's what happens. They say something like, oh, we passed this or we helped pass this legislation, and everybody's like, yeah,
and everybody claps. Yep.
It's the clapping mob, you know.
And I think it makes it so people will say stupid shit like that, like, you have a collapsing cane. What are you, ashamed? No.
Yeah.
Right.
That's like, that kind of bull. It's like who the fuck? No,
I don't want to make a spectacle.
It fits in my purse.
Because why don't you want to make a spectacle? Are you ashamed to be? Well, why don't you make it a forefront of your persona? Like, be proud and loud. Like, there's nothing to be proud or loud about. It's fucking
it just happens to be something I have. It's like, how about I be proud and loud about the fact I just took a real stinky shit? Well, you know, I mean, do I really need to do that?
Well, and having people, like, one of the things that I noticed was, as a blind person, I was very annoyed because I'm like, do you need that long cane to be cluttering up the bathroom or cluttering up the, like, why do you need to do that?
Well,
yes,
because
they do.
it's actually irritating me as a fellow blind person.
Well, then you're a blindophobe, and then you're not really understanding how to deal with the.
No,
You're
I'm
not. You're
blindophobe.
You're not on blind on team blind.
Yeah,
You're not
on
on Team Blinky.
Apparently not. Because
Even
I
though
tripped
you're not
over
a,
your
you're not
fucking
a,
cane and hurt myself.
you're not a real blind person.
Not a real blind person, like you would give a shit.
Correct.
Yeah, you're not a real, just like you're
And
not
I'll
a
take
real
that
black,
label with
since
pride. Actually,
you're a black Republican. You're not, or a gay Republican. You're not a real.
Yeah, I'll take.
and you know what?
take
I would actually take a label like that with pride. Oh, cool. I'm not a good. I don't want to be a blind person.
No, but I
Does
am,
anybody?
and that's why I won't take it with pride, because I'm like, no, get your fucking cane. Just stop it. You're making yourself a nuisance, and you're making me perceived as a nuisance.
Yes, exactly.
So pull your shit together and get the fuck a collapsible cane so that you can collapse it when you're at the restaurant table.
You know, the crazy.
You don't have to collapse it.
Or learn how to position it where it doesn't affect
it. Doesn't get in other people's way.
You don't have one.
But almost all the time it's going to. And the thing is, with a collapsible, you don't have to collapse it.
Well, you remember Crazy Bitch that I told you about? Crazy Bitch, the one that I dated for, well, not long, but I went out with her a few times. Remember? And I said, there's something wrong with this bitch.
Which one?
Yeah.
Touche.
The one recently.
I wanted to say that, but
the one that I told you about was
she had her filter on again.
With taking where Homeland Security was involved.
That
one.
Okay.
So she had a straight cane. And when we go to the bar, she'd lay it down. You know, there's that little place where you put your feet, you know, where you're sitting on the bar stool. Well, her cane would like be under everyone's feet, you know, at the bar.
See, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I know.
But it gets them noticed. It makes it so they're noticed.
Yep, exactly. Where me, I got my shit, I just fold it up, put it on the bar top.
You have to notice and acknowledge and go, wow.
Whoa, you're a mozzing, bruh. You know,
it's all, but that's what identity politics does. That's what identity, all that shit does. And that's why we bring it up. For me, it's why I know we talk about our eyesight and stuff a lot. And that people would probably say, oh, you guys all talk about your eyesight a lot, but it's never about, we're individuals. And we a lot of times we use it to make points, like this point, like that's why that kind of shit is bad. Like joining these organizations and joining the organizations in the problem. It's when the organizations become your religion and like cult like, you know, where it's like fucking
Yep.
You know.
Well, and when you start losing your perception of what is ethical and what is,
or your identity, you know.
Yeah. When I left the Massage Therapy Association, I lost a couple of friends, and a couple of them were because, you know, the way that I was treated by the national office was incredibly not appropriate. And they said, oh, we'll back you. And then they actively didn't. And one of them took my job. And I said, that's just wrong.
What a mess.
And
like, these are backbiting motherfuckers anyway. I don't want to be part of them, right?
Yeah. And the thing about it was a lot of them had history with the organization. Like, oh, I've been with them for, 25 years. And I was fast tracked. So I didn't have that history. So I was able to just jump ship. But I did see how the organizations work, and it's political. It's very political.
Well, all organizations are.
Oh, exactly. It's what we can get accomplished and who's doing it, and anybody making waves. And what a lot of people don't realize is in all of these nonprofit organizations, you've got boards.
And people make money in those. There's actually people making money in those as well.
It's almost like a pyramid scheme.
But the boards make money. But
right. Well, there we go.
The staff can influence the board. And if you get a staff in place, you can have a staff making much more money than the board makes. And so they put forth laws that get passed by the board, and then they're sitting pretty. And so, and the more, and Guide Dogs has it, the Massage Therapy Association that I worked for has it. I'm sure NFB, ACB, probably AFB too. You know, anyone that is a nonprofit or a not-for-profit, they figure it out.
And there's an organization. That's the thing about these organizations is a lot of them have to be run, and those people running them make money, and the organizations make money. And they also, so when you got two organizations like ACB and NFB, you're getting on our territory. You're not making, we're not making as much money because you're around. And so we're
it's like gang. It's gang. Gang.
Yeah, it's what they all do. But it's the same to Black Lives Matter, the rainbow fucking flag bullshit.
But then if something happens where they're both in jeopardy, they all of a sudden they're sisters. They're like, yes, we're fighting for the cause of the blind.
Yeah, because half of them are on each of this board. Yeah, God, I'm so glad I'm not involved in that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I never wanted to get involved in them, and I've had people that tried to get me to join them bitches. One person, it was kind of funny. Her like little carrot was, well, you could use NFB Newsline, which is where at the time it was just where you called in, right, to listen to. They give you different news from if you want local or national or whatever. And I'd say, well, I got the internet.
What the fuck do you want? Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, I got the internet. And she's like, well, yeah, but this way you could kind of just sit at your dining room table. I'm like, yeah, well, my computer is actually at my dining room table. So
this way you aware of what you're in?
What's up, Louie?
You could have gotten NFB. You can still get NFB.
Oh, anyone can use NFB Newsline now. Yeah. Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's now you can do it online. I mean, or on your iPhone or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
So,
but like you said, I mean, you can get your news sources from anywhere.
Sure. Well, that's it. I don't need to be. It doesn't.
But they want you to get they want you to get your stuff from them.
Yeah. Fuck all that. I get my news from wherever.
What they do is they it's a good service because they do select like actual newspapers.
Sure.
But if you don't care about, if you don't like subscribe to the Sacramento Bee or whatever it is,
I'm not one of those people. If I was cited, I wouldn't be getting a paper subscription or whatever the fuck it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah. I mean,
but I used to find it helpful because especially when I moved out here to Texas in this city that I'm in, I didn't know what was around me. So I was like, let me look at the newspapers around here and see what's going on.
I used to use Tell Me. You guys ever use Tell Me?
No, what's that?
Never heard of Tell Me?
No.
I don't even know if it's still active anymore, but you used to call in and you could say, what you want. Did you want to hear news? Did you want to hear weather? Did you want to hear,
Oh, yeah, that one. Oh my God.
Remember Tell Me? That was like some
I do remember
ago.
that now.
I want to say, like early 2000s, something like that. Yeah, I used to use that shit way back then.
I do remember that. Actually, I do remember that. Yeah.
So and you call in and we go,
Cruz is like, I am out of this conversation. I have no idea what you're talking about.
What the fuck I think he's talking about? Well, on that note, folks, I think we pretty much drained the swamp.
Unless you guys got stuff, you guys have to. Well, we've been going for fucking.
Yeah, we've been rolling for a minute, man. So
we never. Yeah, but you guys have anything you want to talk about, or we or what you got? Anything on your minds? Have we ever talked to her?
I'm good.
Okay, I got it. By the way, we have a compromise name for you. We can call you the K phone.
The K phone.
No, I cannot be No, I'm not compromising.
Okay.
All right. I'll compromise. Fuck.
No, you can be the eye koala.
The Iwala.
Iwala.
No, I don't like that.
That actually sounds, that sounds like some kind of device too, an Iwala.
Yeah.
I got a new Iwala yesterday. And,
that's what it's going to be. The eye wall is their next Apple invention. It's the whole wall is a fucking computer device.
It's an Iwala.
It's happening.
Yeah, I'll stay with my original name, and we'll just know that when I log in, that's we'll just figure it out.
Unless you want to have a loud head fight with Kimberly, I don't.
I don't feel like having a loud head fight with Kimberly. I'd win it, but I just don't.
You probably would. You probably would win.
No, I would.
What the heck is a
I don't even know who Kimberly is.
See, I just opened another can of worms.
Yeah, dude.
Well, all the
right.
animals and objects, that if they get mad at each other, they'll have head fights that bang their heads together and call each other bitches and stuff like that.
I told Louie's like, this is my last show.
See, I wouldn't do that. I'd be much more clever. I would win, but I just don't want to put my energy into it. So
I got you. Yeah, there's other.
It's fine.
All right.
Anyways, kids, this has been the somewhat drunken, for some people, drink rap. For March 2023, I am Cruise Control.
I'm Maxwell Silverhammer.
I'm Louie Loke.
I am Koala or iPhone.
And that's the story.
Yeah, bitches. Say hi.
We are nothing sacred. We are nothing sacred. We are nothing sacred.
With Maxwell Silverhammer.
We are nothing sacred. With cruise control. We are nothing sacred.